Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media, let's make some noise. Welcome to Sporgy, the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions. And now, here are your hosts.
Oh, it's number 88. I'm Chris.
I'm Rich.
I'm the Iceman.
Who's number 88?
Eric Lindros.
Philly's own. Think he ate horse shit last week?
He might have with as many concussions as he had. I'm surprised he was able to remember who the fuck he was when he went to his number retirement.
Did he punch the second police horse last week?
No, that's his brother Brett Lindros.
Yeah.
Even shorter career. That whole man, that family must have some must be very concussion prone. Like I wonder if they got like Mama drank or lived under power lines when she was pregnant with him or something.
Born with glass skulls.
Michael Irvin.
Oh, Michael. Yeah. Wait. Oh, hold up. Shit. Load faster. All right. There's a payoff. Trust me.
I think I know what it is.
You know what it is. Michael Irvin.
Give him his due! Give him his due!
Oh, and it's looping. See? Extra Michael Irvin for you.
Got to give Mike his due on 88.
Give him his due!
Yes. Any other number 88s?
Yeah. Dale Jr.
Dale Jr.?
Yep.
Jr.?
Well, used to be. Used to could. His car took the pole this year. He's number 88. Adam, say something.
And dude, that's like podcasting for one. You start start talking about racing. It's me and Rich are over here just
Pretty much.
yeah.
Wow.
I put gas in the car. I have a car.
I mean, I will say this. I did listen to the Joe Rogan episode with Danica Patrick. And I think I want to say like about 2.5 hours maybe. It was interesting, but I mean, ultimately I was like, oh yeah, she's nutty as fucking squirrel shit.
No, she's all Aaron Rodgers. It's all for him.
I mean, good for him, I guess. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, Peyton Manning is to serve as the honorary pace car driver for this year's Daytona 500.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers will be there as Danica Patrick's wang. That's what he'll be there as. Her official pace cock.
Right.
Mr. Patrick.
So is that an upgrade or did he downgrade?
Fuck, that's a downgrade, motherfucker. Have you seen Olivia Munn?
Yes.
Yeah.
My dog pooped.
Have you seen Danica Patrick?
Yeah.
The choice is clear.
I mean, don't get it wrong. Danica Patrick's cute. Olivia Munn's hot.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know, man. A couple of those GoDaddy commercials that she was in when she got in the scene.
She does not even compare to Olivia Munn.
I mean, I've seen all the yoga pictures of her and her, fitness pictures, and it's like, I mean, I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers, but if I had to, choose who I was going to try to hook up with for the night...
If you were Aaron Rodgers, you would
That's
pick...
plan B.
Dude,
plan A is Olivia Munn. He's done it right. He's had them both, so more power to him, I guess.
Iceman, we're not even talking different leagues. We're talking different sports. Yeah, man, it's not even a competition. Again, I mean, Danica Patrick propositioned me. I'm not saying no, but I mean, choice is clear, man. Don't even have to think about it.
Okay.
Hey, man, that means it's all you with Danica Patrick. More Danica Patrick for you.
Yeah, so anyways, Alex Bowman, number 88.
Alex Bowman.
He is now.
Oh, that's the new Dale. It's Dale to replace Dale.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
As the pole at the Daytona 500.
500.
500.
The 500.
One of the few races that people go, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Oh, for wrecking?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of if there's going to be a big wreck, it's when's there going to be a big wreck.
You know, when I went to college,
Talladega is the best one for that, though.
The college I went to in Florida was like right down the street. I mean, it was on the same street as where the Daytona 500's at. So it was just like, you know, the International Speedway, whatever. And I was just, every time I pass it, I'm like, God, I can smell the PBR and Skull Dip, you know. Just, I don't know, just not my thing.
Smell the rubbers.
Yeah, the future welfare checks being cut. Wait, did I say that out loud?
Hey, at least they don't have to get checked for concussions after every race.
Really? Whatever.
Well, this was long enough ago to where the only black person at the Daytona International Speedway would be Charlie Pride if he was singing the fucking national anthem. So, I mean,
hot dog and popcorn vendors.
No, remember Michael Clark Duncan in what was it, Talladega Nights? He's the crew chief for Ricky Bobby, the only black guy in the stadium.
Hey,
don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
Yeah.
Being first or last.
All right. So
baby, take a bite.
As listeners can tell, this is the slow period of the sports year.
Yeah.
We're post-football.
So when we talk about NASCAR, it's got to be the slow period.
Football's over, and doing my best to not want to kill myself.
You got to, you know, the playoffs for NBA and NHL are still far enough away to where it's like, unless you're really dedicated to those sports, you're probably not getting that excited yet.
They're not that far away, though. Because the fantasy hockey season and basketball seasons only have like 4 weeks left.
And then you got, you know, obviously March Madness.
Yeah.
But we do have, because it is, Jesus, I just realized something. Damn, man. Chris, this is the second Olympics we've been doing the show.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit? No, you're right. Yeah,
we started before the Summer Olympics in 2016.
We fucking did.
Wow.
Yeah. Because we covered Swim Shady there.
We did. That dipshit.
But yeah, we'll get to the Olympics later in the show. But here's I know. Here's where I'm going to let my co-host shine, and I'm going to go
take a dump. Yeah.
I'm gonna be out back counting stars. If you get that reference, then you're old enough to listen to the podcast. Go ahead. What's going on in the NBA, guys?
Well, first I want to talk about and name the Cavalier roster. Okay, so we have LeBron James and...
Well, as far as people you've heard of, yeah.
And...
Well, yeah, there's a lot of movement in Cleveland.
A lot of movement?
My favorite meme was one that was shared in the chat, ironically by Rich. LeBron said, I need 14 new niggas here by Monday. That's pretty much what went on.
I like Early's like LeBron and I feel like I'm watching Super Troopers. Littering and smoking the ganja.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Tristan Thompson's still there, J.R. Smith's still there, Kevin Love's still there, sorta. I mean, he's on the roster.
Anybody surprised that he's hurt? Raise your hand. Okay, thank you.
Well, he can't because his is hurt.
Right.
But, yeah, so everything that I've read said this is setting up for, what's his name, PG-13 and LeBron to go to L.A. next year. That's what this is all set up for. All this movement in Believe land. Ironically, the Cavs, on a 3-game winning streak. The Cavs are actually doing well since where they pretty much... I mean, it's a salary dump, right? I mean, for Dwayne Wade, it was honestly like, dude, go back to Miami, retire with the Heat, and then be done with basketball.
Right.
That's what that move was.
Pretty much.
You're doing nothing here on the fucking. All you're doing in Cleveland at this point is stirring up nostalgia and taking a spot on the fucking roster for somebody who could actually fucking play.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, you know.
Name draw.
Yeah. So.
But, dude, everybody went.
Yeah.
Now, it wasn't just Wade. Isaiah Thomas, see you later. Derrick Rose, go bye-bye.
I think this was. Well, I just think this was the management going like, hey, Bron, we spent all this. We got you your help. We're not getting return on this investment. You know, and they must obviously know what his decision is. Like, we're getting rid of all these people then. We know you're leaving. We're not going to keep all this money out. Deuces, you know, like.
Well, the argument is they made it clear that if he wants to go to LA, they've paved the road. But they've also said, we've got you all the help that you've asked for. Make your fucking choice. Basically, literally putting the ball in James's court.
Well,
it's his move.
Not really. They got rid of all the help.
No, they didn't.
What are you talking?
Nance, dude?
We literally just had a conversation about how they shipped everybody off. What the fuck?
No. They shipped their entire roster off. It's not all the talent. They got talent back. But it was so funny to watch the entire fucking like last year when they got rid of Irvin, and I was like, oh, that was a bad move. There goes their team. And they tried to replace him with the other short black guy, Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, no.
Okay, real quick. How does them moving everybody but LeBron, basically, that they could move? You know, like we said, you know, obviously Kevin Love, he's injured, blah, 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 blah. How does that open up the door for him to go to L.A.?
Okay. What they did for L.A., the way they had the trade with Isaiah Thomas and Nance and all of them, it took the salary cap for L.A. way, way down. The payroll for LA was like right at the ceiling, like you couldn't fit another dollar between their payroll and the ceiling. Okay. And because of the people that Cleveland took, I mean, it's they got enough room that it's like in the basement now. So if they want to bring in PG-13 and LeBron James, they have the money to pay them.
Yes.
Now.
Okay. All right. So I mean, they did not make these moves thinking this is going to make LeBron happy and he's going to stay in Cleveland.
Yeah, they did. They did exactly that, but they also cleared the path to LA. Basically, seriously telling LeBron, look, we've done everything we're going to do for you. You have all the help you need here now. We got rid of the turmoil. We got rid of the wasted space. We got rid of the caps, the salary cappers that are just sitting here making a paycheck. You have a team that you can win with. If you want to stay in Cleveland, there's your team. You want to still go to LA and try that market? See you later. It almost appears to me, honestly, that the Cleveland owner has had enough. Because it was like I always was talking about LeBron James going, you know, you don't do that about your coach. You don't say that about your teammates. You don't come out to the and basically, I think the owner was pretty much saying the same shit.
Put that evil on me.
Right. And going, you know what? Fuck it. Here. I'll get rid of everybody you want. I'll bring in everybody you need. And either you play with them and you win, or you take the fuck off. I'm done.
God, jeez, what is happening? I can't not agree with you there. I mean, it's like, what, 4 or 5 times in 2 weeks? What is happening? No, I mean, yeah, this is ownership going, what? This is, you know what this is? The ownership's being Tom Cruise to LeBron James, Cuba Gooding Jr. They're doing help me, help you. LeBron, help me, help you. What do you fucking need? They are currently still first in their division, but Milwaukee and Indiana Bucks are a game and a half back, and the Pacers are 2 games back. So Detroit's only 6.5 out, even though they've lost the last 3 games.
Lost.
What, they've lost the last 3?
Yeah, I mean, isn't the newness of having Blake Griffin pretty much wore off now? Like
the league pretty much adjusted.
Yeah, I don't want to say the honeymoon, but the novelty of Blake Griffin, he's in a Pistons uniform, and then he's pretty much came back down to earth. I mean, I just saw an article about how Stan Van Gundy was calling his brother, like, "What do I do?" Wait a minute, Stan Van Gundy is the Pistons head coach.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff is his brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's never a good look. John Gruden ain't going to be calling Jay Gruden going, "What do I run on 4th and 1?" All right? That's what I'm saying. That's just not a good look.
However, Eli did happen to call Peyton, so.
Jim Harbaugh might call John Harbaugh, because right now it looks like U of M hired the wrong Harbaugh, but that's just...
Whoops.
Maybe you should have hired the one who won the Super Bowl. Yeah, just saying, but...
I do love Blake Griffin's number now. That is hilarious to me.
What's his number?
23.
Mark Aguirre?
23, not 25.
This is Mark Aguirre's number, and he's Piston. That's why the fuck I even remember that. I just do.
Oh, that Mark McGuire.
Aguirre. What? I don't even like basketball, and I knew what he was saying. What the fuck? Stop playing with your peekapoo or whatever and fucking pay attention to the podcast.
I have a chi-poo, not a peekapoo.
That's what it sounds like. That's what those things sound like. They sound like an even gayer Pokemon. That's what. Chipu, I choose you.
What the fuck?
Ha! Gay! For 10 hours straight.
I know, right?
Anyways, number 23. Jordan's number. The great King LeBron James's number. And he just pulls it out his ass, puts it on, and fucking, here I am. Greatest in Detroit, bitches.
Well, he ain't wrong at the moment. It's not like he's got a lot of competition at the moment.
No, it's him and Drummond, man. They got some things. They're good.
Well, it's funny that you should bring that up, the great James, because what is it? The final ESPN all-time 100 list as of right now, top 20. Anybody want to guess who they think is the best? And this is for NBA, by the way. Anybody want to take a guess who is ranked number 1?
I know.
Jordan.
Of course. Number 2 is kind of shocking.
Kobe.
You got Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Uh-huh.
Number 3, LeBron.
Over Kobe? Get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here.
Hold on. It keeps getting better.
This list is invalid.
You got Magic Johnson at number 4. Wilt Distilled at number 5.
Kobe's not in the top 5?
Larry Bird at number 6.
This list is garbage. Wait. Bring back them garbage drops. Pac-Man Jones is going to make a comeback.
Garbage. Bill Russell at number 7. Tim Duncan at number 8. Shaquille O'Neal at number 9.
Shaq should not even be anywhere near the top 10.
Okay, hold on. Hakeem Olajuwon, number 10.
Yes.
Oscar Robinson, number 11. And at number 12, with a rock tied to his foot, Kobe Bryant.
Wow, man. Wow. Wow. I don't know what to say. It's a podcast. We're supposed to have things to say. I'm speechless at this list.
Yeah. So the only thing I could think is that this is either a poll that somebody rigged,
garbage, or being trolled,
or it's a very elaborate troll that someone posted up, and it's being passed off as real. But it was posted on the ESPN's website, their Facebook page. So, garbage. And they posted it.
Garbage.
So,
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So, all right. I'll play the role of interviewer to you guys because I don't know what the fuck's going on. Okay. So all these moves are made. This is fucking Gilbert's way of saying to LeBron, "All right, buddy. There you go. No distractions.
Use it or lose it.
Here it is.
Here's a pod. It's time to shit in it or get off of it.
Does this move work? In you guys' opinion?
Yeah, it works to send him to L.A.
I don't think he goes to LA. I mean, I really don't. Why would he want to go to LA? Why?
Because it's L.A.
There's nothing there.
Hold on. You guys have like pole vaulted over the rest of this season. I'm talking about, does it work this season? Because here's the thought I had about this. Why, whenever Brady gets near a Super Bowl, including this last one that just went by, almost everybody unanimously says, unless your name's Eli Manning, I'm picking Brady because no one's proved they could beat him. And yet everyone's going, oh, LeBron ain't getting to the finals this year. He's been in the finals how many years out of the last, 7, 8? I mean, he's been there all but, once or twice? I'm not saying he's going to win it all, but to doubt that he can get there, to doubt that the team can catch fire when it needs to.
The reason that they doubt that he's going to make it is because of the, quote, super teams. LeBron James no longer has a big three in Cleveland.
Dude,
the
other night, Steve Kerr fucking said, hey, I'm gonna go get a burger. You guys want to coach? And the fucking Warriors coach themselves. I mean, it's the championship goes through them as far as I'm concerned. Like, it's theirs to... You have to take it from them at this point. Like, I don't see anyone else really giving them any problems for it.
Yeah, like the players were literally drawing on the whiteboard. Making their own plays.
Steve Kerr let him do huddle. He was like, yeah, you guys coach yourselves.
Well, I'm not doubting that if it's a rematch of last year, I would never put money on it, but if I had to pick one, it'd give me Golden State all day. But that doesn't stop LeBron and the Cavs from getting to the finals.
No, it doesn't.
That's what I'm talking about.
And again, Rich, the reason people are saying that he's not going to make it is he doesn't have the big three. All the super teams have at least the big three, including Boston, who they think will stop him from getting to the finals.
I was going to say in the East right now, it's really all about the Raptors and the Celtics.
Right.
Well, I mean, I can tell you this, your boy, Iceman, Stephen A. Smith, I read a transcript of his rant about LeBron where he was like, look, the greats don't need all this bullshit help. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But, I mean, he basically called him out. Did the same thing you've been doing.
Yeah, I did that a long time ago, and he said I needed help.
I didn't say you needed help.
And he, unfortunately, like Chris, I'm like, what the fuck? I got to agree with Stephen A. Smith? He's right. When Michael Jordan was winning in the 90s, he didn't need all the bullshit help. He needed one guy, and he didn't even need him. Scottie Pippen was his mainstay. Every other position on that court was a fucking carousel. And it didn't stop Jordan not just from getting there, but also winning the title. I heard it put the best way possible. In football, Belichick and Brady are the best coach-quarterback combo ever. That is true. In basketball, who's the best coach-player combination ever?
Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan.
Yeah, you got to give it to them.
Right.
I mean, you could make an argument.
Is this the part where we state obvious things?
You could make an argument that, Pat Riley, Magic Johnson, Pat Riley, the Showtime Lakers, basically. But that was more of a team than a coach / player, pairing necessarily. But ultimately, I gotta kind of echo Chris's sentiment. Okay, and in other news, you stick your head in the fire, it's going to burn.
My point is LeBron's never been that guy, ever.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, true. It's always been about LeBron and nobody else. There hasn't been there has been the 1-2 punch with LeBron and a coach. You are correct, sir.
we hear that he's the greatest player in the world currently, or the greatest player ever, and he's not. That's the media trying to build up a certain person, just like in NHL. Who's the best player in the NHL, Rich?
According to
the media.
Yeah, you're gonna have to probably see. They're probably still gonna fucking trumpet Crosby for another couple of years at least.
Right, and they did that with him. And in football, it's Brady. They each have their own. You know, in Major League Baseball, it's that's the pitcher. I can't even think of his name.
No, you're wrong on that, homeboy. It's been Mike Trout.
Yeah.
There are so many fucking people in the media who carry buckets and buckets of water for Mike Trout.
So right now in the NBA, they're trying to say it was LeBron James. They've said it for years. Woohoo. And now he's getting too old. And they're trying to move off him. The king's lost his crown. He needs his cord.
What do you mean trying, though? Like, he's not like he hasn't won any championships.
No, by no means am I saying that, dude. By no means. LeBron James is a great player. He really is. When he shuts up, gets on the court and wants to play, yeah, he's a great player. But he needs help to win. He can't win by himself.
No, he definitely likes to be in the middle of a team near the top of he wants to be the top dog. But I mean, I've said this. We've all said this at separate times since we've been doing the show as a 3-person show. I don't get the feeling that he demands the ball when the game's on the line.
Yeah, and that ain't the top dog then, because that's the top dog. The top dog says, "Give me the ball with 1 second left." Top dog says, "With 1 second." It's like Jack Nicholson in Few Good Men. You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. That's the top dog. 1 second left.
Or Gene Hackman in The Replacements.
Give me the fucking
winner
ball.
wants the fucking ball
Yeah.
when the game is on the line. You're right.
Well, the NBA has pretty much turned into super teams and everybody else. Super teams and also rans. And I'm finding it amazing that with Paul Pierce getting his number retired, there's a severe lack of attention being brought to the prototype super team of the modern era, which is the 2008 Celtics.
Oh, you know, where they brought in KG?
Rondo, Pierce, Larry Allen.
Ray Allen, yeah.
How you doing, Dallas?
I mean, that was the original big three as far as modern era. So, I mean, once again, LeBron even overshadows the facts. You know, the big three, you say the big three, and most people, I guarantee you, are going to start talking about the Miami Heat. And it's like, no, that wasn't the first big three. And by the way, didn't take them how many years to win their first championship together? They did it first year. So, I don't know.
Chris Paul ended up being their Ringo.
I kind of wonder how much.
It was Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, right?
It was Bosh.
Oh, Chris Bosh. Well, see, you prove my point. Chris Bosh, Ringo. Sorry.
And Larry Allen.
I gotta wonder with, I don't know. Maybe it's because we're not on the West Coast, but it seems to me that if you were on the West Coast, NBA talk would be dominated by Golden State. And if these moves weren't being made with LeBron's team, would everybody be talking about LeBron right now, unless they're talking about how bad the team is starting to choke?
No, they wouldn't. And unfortunately, Golden State has become the Patriots. The only people that talk about Golden State are Golden State fans, unless they're the haters and are like, look at all the technical fouls they got.
Last year, everyone was breaking their necks to suck their dicks last year. What? No one likes them this year?
No, because they're getting like technical fouls, like 3 a game. Every time, turn around. Tech.
Hey, man, when you're on top of that mountain, all people want to do is knock you off of it.
I mean, it's a legit point. I don't know. I just think that LeBron is I don't know. He garners too much attention, but at the same time, the NBA don't give a shit because people are paying attention. Their ratings are up. They're not the NFL. They're not trying to explain away, why last year's finals was the lowest rated finals in 9 years, like they've been doing since the Super Bowl ratings came out. So NBA, they're fine with it. And you have to believe at some point, LeBron, even though he doesn't maybe want the ball, 1 second left, loves the attention. And his game is to play, I don't love the attention. He's the guy who he's the guy whose game to pick up chicks is, I have no game. Like, I don't play games. I'm just, hey, how you doing? And that's just it.
He's just famous, so he just walks in and gets them.
Well, yeah, dude, because how many hours have we talked about this, man? And even last year after the finals, it wasn't just us. I mean, at best you could say we were a reflection of what most of the mainstream sports media was doing. They were talking about fucking LeBron in Cleveland. And what's going to happen? Who's he going to bring in? Is LeBron going to stay? Is he going to demand a trade? There was a bunch of bullshit flying around.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm Golden State, I'm going, excuse me, didn't we win the motherfucking championship?
Yeah, but they got paid, though.
By the way, LeBron dropped in 37 tonight as they beat OKC 120-112. Well, while we're sitting here talking all this mad shit about him. He dropped almost 40 points.
Well, he should. He just got a whole new team, dude. The median age on the Cleveland Cavaliers now is like 26.
Again, man, you are a tough fucking audience. Like, well, he should.
I'm not a tough audience, dude.
That poor dog.
That poor out an entire fucking team, dude.
That poor dog. You'll be like next Tuesday, like, why are you still shitting in the house? We've had you for like a week.
What are you, like 7 weeks old?
Yeah, actually, he would be.
The fuck? What kind of 7-week-old dog don't know to go shit outside? And then when it shits outside, it's like, oh, you're going to give the dog a treat? No. That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm not a tough audience, dude. He changed out an entire fucking team.
He, like he's the GM. Like we're back to this discussion.
Not going to start this. You're not going to start this.
You think he ordered all these moves?
Oh, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. The story's already broke that he went and told on fucking Dwayne Wade for sitting in the locker room watching Heat games at halftime, checking the score and shit. He's not even in tune with Cleveland. He wanted to be back in Miami.
Okay, but wait a minute. The motherfucker was drafted by him, spent the majority of his career there, played with, unarguably, 2 Hall of Famers there, won championships there. Why shouldn't he be interested in what his old team is doing?
I totally agree with you. And there was already rumors when he was in Chicago that he wanted to go back to Miami. He didn't even want to stop at Cleveland.
Oh.
I'm just saying,
every time you jump on the Ludacris train, Iceman, I ask you the same question. What's the upside? What does he get out of this?
LeBron?
Yeah, what's the upside?
He gets a younger, faster team. More talented team.
More talented motherfucker. We started talking about like how we don't know, like he's the only person left we know on the roster.
Right. But that doesn't mean the talent's not there. You know Nance Jr. from LA?
Not really.
Oh, never mind then.
I
bet you our listeners do if they watch NBA.
Okay.
But here or there, man, it's he's got a younger, faster, talented team that he could play with and win with. All of the distractions, the ruckus, the hurt, injury prone, other than Love, that's gone. Derrick Rose, see ya. Isaiah Thomas, bye. Dwayne Wade, thanks for putting asses in the seats. You can go home now.
I don't even know why you acquired Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade. I mean, are you just into like paying, like you got good insurance or something? like those motherfuckers. I mean, Dwayne Wade should have hung it up 5 years ago. And Derrick Rose, I mean, his career's been a joke. I mean, what's the meme that goes around every year? Playoff time on the internet. Derrick Rose playoff jersey's now available, and it's a suit ad.
Yep.
Like, this is, dude, I'm telling you, this wasn't LeBron. This was general management going, dude, we got to get rid of some dead weight. Like, these two bitches who just fill up the bench and never play and just stay injured, they got to go. You know, Isaiah Thomas, thanks for spending half of your season, spending most of the time with us. I mean, think about it. They got rid of 3 players. I mean, Thomas played, what, 2 weeks with him before he got shipped off?
Yeah, he played like 15 games.
Yeah. So between him, I mean, the accrued DL time between just 3 of those guys that they offloaded, I could see, this is a management move. This isn't a LeBron. LeBron already went there and, you know, flexed his nuts. So he got the coach that they have now.
All right, but let me ask this question. Dwayne Wade, Derrick Rose, you knew you were getting damaged goods with those two. Isaiah Thomas, if you're Isaiah Thomas, does this put a chip on your shoulder?
Huge.
Yeah, it should
This
for
is like
2
the
teams.
I think third or fourth time he's been traded in 4 years.
Hey, but if you're Isaiah Thomas, do you start thinking maybe it's you?
It's got to be something like
based
that.
on what you just said? Either your output isn't good enough for a team to want to hold on to you. That's what I would be thinking. Apparently, when I'm not injured, what I'm putting on the court isn't worth it enough for this team to hold on to me. Or there's always this, especially when you get in the NBA, he could suck to play with. He could not be fun to have on your team.
Well, dude, when he finally started playing and wasn't down because of his hip, the fucking Cavaliers tanked. And towards the end of January, they had only won 5 games since Christmas, bro. It was terrible.
They're still over 600.
Now,
they never really, dude. Do I got to roll back tape? Because every week I've called you on it, they've been over 600. Like right now, they're at 600. They are the lowest they've been, but they've been over 600 the whole time you've been saying that they've been taking a shit.
Dude, they were like 5 and 16. I don't give a fuck what their total was.
Here we go again.
If they didn't fix it and fix it quick, they weren't making the playoffs.
They never have not, but they've been solidly in the number 3 spot since Christmas in the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay? I can go back on the last...
Dude, you're talking about the team that went to the fucking finals the last 3 years, and they're solidly in the 3rd spot. Come on, man.
Okay.
Shit was going wrong. And if the
playoffs
fix it,
started
they were going
today,
down.
they'd still make it. They were never not in the playoff picture. They are still in it.
All right, I can argue with you.
They are 33-22.
I don't know if it's anything.
First place in their division.
Look, I get if your point, Earl, is that they were on the decline and you don't want to go into the playoffs with a team that's been just stuck in a fucking epic slump and rut. Yeah, I can agree with that. But I mean, to say that they were going to tank their way completely out of the playoffs, I don't know, man. I mean, I think some of your dislike for LeBron's color in your opinion on that one.
It had nothing to do with LeBron, dude. It had to do with the team chemistry, the way it was being ran, the way it was being put together. It just didn't work. And if you want to roll back and look at it, Chris and Mr. Statsman, go ahead. When Isaiah Thomas finally got off the injured list and started playing, they started to suck, and in a very bad way. Like I said, in the middle towards the end of January, they had only won 5 fucking games since Christmas. It was bad. And if they continued to play like that, and there was no sign that they weren't going to, they would have found themselves out of the playoffs. This is a team that for the past 3 years, when they had Kyrie Irving, was at the top and looking for a bye week going into the playoffs. And they were happy with just sitting solidly in 3rd and on a decline on their way out? No. So you're right. It was a management move. But I think it was based on LeBron going, this is what needs to happen for years. And then they were like, you know what? I'm going to do this one last time. You got it. Out they go, in they come. You got a younger, faster, talented team. Do it or leave. If you can't do it now, you never will, and we're tired of waiting.
I mean, what is there to wait for, though? They got their championship. The icing on the cake and the cherry on top would be if they win another one before he leaves. I mean, because it's like when Sue was up here playing for Detroit. Only the most deeply drinking of the Lions Kool-Aid thought that there was a snowball chance in hell that Sue was going to sign up here. I mean, that's it. Everyone knew he was gone. They just didn't know where he was going. So it's the same with LeBron, isn't it?
Pretty much.
I mean, Jesus Christ, once again, they lose to Golden State for the next week on Sports Talk Radio. Not, by the way, Cleveland Sports Talk Radio, local Detroit Sports Talk Radio, and national Sports Talk Radio. It was where will LeBron go after next season. Pretty much tells you all you need to know. So it seems to me that, yeah, this is, hey, one last gasp, and fuck it. Blow the team up after that. What do they have to lose? If LeBron leaves, they're not winning any championships. They're not going to build a super team around who in Cleveland without LeBron? Who are they going to get? They going to call up Detroit and ask for Blake Griffin? You going to build a super team around him?
Then you have Blake and Kevin Love sitting in the locker room going, damn, my hand hurts. My neck hurts. My hand and my neck hurts. But I'm getting paid $150,000.
Good work if you can find it.
Oh, Griffin, it's usually more his knee, isn't it?
Yeah. Right now it's his face. Got a basketball smacked off his face in the game the other night.
All right, so we shat on LeBron for a good 45.
I'm just saying it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the season.
Is there any way with everything that's happened in LeBron's career up till now, moving forward, is there any way for him to get a little bit of respect from you, Earl?
Yeah,
disregard everything that happened before. That's what I'm saying, just from here on out.
Yeah, but it won't happen. He needs to shut up and play ball. Shut up, play ball, and win. That's it. You know what? Shut up and play ball. He'll get my respect if he does that. But he won't. He can't. It's not who he is.
So, no, would be the short answer to their Rich.
If he proves me wrong, then he will earn my respect, but he won't. I don't care if he wins. I don't care if he went to 8 and only won 3. I don't care about any of that. I care about how he treats his team, his coaches, his city.
But a lot of this is a lot of that stuff, though, man's conjecture, man. Like, you think he went into the GM's office and was like, get me 14 new niggas by Monday. Like, you don't know. You think that's what went down.
I'm going by past experience with LeBron at Cleveland. I need a new coach.
And now, fuck you, because you're putting me in a fucking position of defending him for thinking that way.
Well, look, perfect example of what I'm getting at, why I asked this question. Last NHL playoffs, for a minute, for a hot second, I was like, wait a minute. Why am I not hearing Crosby cry like I'm used to hearing? And then what happened? Team executives, people in the front office of the Penguins started crying on his behalf, and I was like, oh.
There it is.
Oh, I get it now. Somebody in in his circle of people told him, yeah, you look like a bitch, and you need to shut up and let other people do the crying for you. Just go out and play the game. Stop with the bitching about no calls. Stop with the nonsense. Just go out and play your game, and don't complain about anything. Let them complain. Let them take the heat for it. But so really, he's not doing anything different. He's still the type of player that's a straight bitch. He's just going to cry and complain because he's not getting his way. And I've never really had any sympathy for players like that. I don't. And I mean, if that's the reason you don't like LeBron, I get that. I understand that.
It is. And it's a lot of part due to everybody trying to compare him to Jordan and people like Chris with, oh, look at his stats and they're so much better. Jordan played at a very rougher time to play basketball than LeBron is, where elbows were plentiful. And when he got his players switched,
You walk to school with no shoes, and 2 feet of snow.
when he got his players switched, you never heard Jordan came out and cry, I need more help. I need a different coach. I need this. This person's racist. You never heard any of that shit from Jordan. Jordan sat there, played his fucking game, he went home. He came back when he was sick with the fucking flu. Played the fucking game.
Well, if he did bitch about it, he was smart enough to keep it out of the media.
Right, it was behind closed doors.
Exactly.
And all you hear from, LeBron is, oh, I need to rest, I'm tired. NBA season's too long. I need better players. I need another coach. I need to sit down and shut the fuck up. Millions upon millions. You're almost a fucking billionaire. Go away.
If you act like a bitch, nigga, you get smacked like a bitch. Bitch, nigga.
All right.
These niggas don't know what the fuck is going on.
Once again, no love lost between the Iceman and LeBron James.
Holler at these niggas for a minute.
There is some love lost between LeVar Ball and LA, though.
Dude, that guy is going to he's setting himself up to get Menendez.
Seriously.
He's going to fuck his other two sons' careers up before Lonzo flames out.
Dude, I'm so not even worried about his other two sons, LaMelo, LiAngelo. I'm not even worried about them because he is so going to fuck Lonzo Ball. Because Lonzo sucks. I called that a long time ago. Iceman it long time ago. And he's really sucking. And they're all about being done with LeVar Ball, saying that their coach has lost the team and they need to have his brothers and all of this bullshit. And I'm like, dude, it's so not far off. I would not be shocked at the end of the season if Lonzo Ball wasn't on LA anymore in one facet or another.
He's averaging 10.2 points a game, 7.1 assists, 7.1 rebounds.
Stats, man, what is the record?
Do I have to say it? His stat line sucks. Those are very pedestrian numbers.
Not even pedestrian, dude. Those aren't even college numbers. Serious, real talk. They're not even numbers that you were like, hey, he's a good player in college. Nah.
The Lakers are 23-32. Oh boy. Kobe and Shaq are long gone.
Way gone. This was supposed to be the new Showtime with Magic running it.
Wah wah.
No shit.
Oh Jesus fucking get the fuck out of here. Lonzo Ball was born the year I graduated high school. Jesus fucking Christ. Wow.
Every once in a while, you look up somebody's age it's active in sports, and you say that really sticks in your craw.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I started to laugh, but I thought about it. What year did you graduate?
97.
Yeah, fuck off. Whatever. Damn it.
No, this year's the year that
Same year I graduated.
and this year's the year where it's now the year with you have to buy liquor. It's I saw it the other day. I was like, God damn, it's already that time, huh? But anyway, so
yeah, and meanwhile, here I graduated in '94.
What up, old man?
Pretty much.
But yeah, Lonzo, what LeVar Ball says his three sons should play together. What was he saying, that Lonzo needs his brothers to be his best? And I'm just sitting there thinking when I'm reading this, like, bitch, if you have to play with somebody, you aren't that good. If you have to have somebody around you so you can shine, then you aren't that good.
LeBron, we're looking at you.
Dude, really? Anyway, we moved on from that conversation.
I'm sorry, I thought you were still talking about
As much
him.
as you
That
want to
described him
keep
perfectly.
beating a dead fucking horse.
I thought you were describing him. My bad. Go ahead.
There's really, I said what I need to say. And LeVar Ball's
No,
a fucking
I
idiot,
think-
and keep shitting on him. I love shitting on him.
LeVar Ball is not an idiot. And Magic Johnson full-heartedly agrees with LeVar Ball. Couldn't agree more with LeVar Ball. They need to all play on the exact same team.
In Lithuania?
Lonzo, take your ass to Lithuania. The fuck out of here.
Yeah, but at
Take your
23,
dad and your brothers with you.
at 23 and 32, do you think it's Lonzo Ball's fault? Do you think it's all his fault? He's a rookie, too.
I mean, yes and no. At the same time, he can't match up in the NBA. I don't know if you've seen any of his games played.
He's 6'6",
But he just can't.
190. He ain't
skill
small.
wise, skill wise, he can't. He has no defense. I don't know what the fuck his shot is with the side of the head bullshit. He just can't match up, bro.
He got drafted.
Uh-huh.
Somebody saw something.
Okay.
Well, you think LeVar cut the Lakers a check?
Or the Lakers fell for, choo-choo, motherfucker, here comes the hype train.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah,
way.
he's the great black hype, man. Seriously. He's the second coming. He's better than LeBron. He could be Jordan one-on-one. He's going to take Steph Curry to the hole and teach him how to play. Yeah.
Sure. On PlayStation, probably.
Not even. Not even.
On
Hand-eye
NBA
coordination
Live,
wins.
sure.
Shit. What was it, NBA 2K something? From years ago? I dominated on that game. Yeah, I'll take all y'all into the hole in that game. Just don't ask me to do it in real life. Unless you got a defibrillator nearby.
Yeah, the only dribbling Rich does is with his lip.
No, only dribbling I do these days if I don't shake it off well enough. No matter how much you wiggle and dance, the last 3 drops go in your pants.
It's a nice little rhyme.
It,
I'm going to tell that to Mandy later.
so, if she ever bitches about, why you got stains on your underwear? Well, see?
You don't have to carry this thing around.
Exactly. By the way, honey, you got granny panties that I've never seen, okay? And we all know what's on those.
Scrambled eggs.
Yeah. Speaking of dicks and pussies, we were talking about LeVar Ball. Maybe it's a show of dead horses. I mean, if we've really wrung all we really have out of this guy, right? I mean, it's...
Well, no, I think with this move, he's trying to get his kids on LA, and what's going to happen is, seriously, Lonzo Ball is going to be off of LA. I'll be impressed if he makes it through this season. I will be fucking amazed if Lonzo Ball is still a Laker next season. Especially with all the hype and talk about LeBron going to LA. If LeBron goes to LA,
that's gonna make
he's
him
not
shine.
going there.
Ask
He's
LeVar.
not.
He'll tell you.
Fuck that, dude. He's not going there to play with Lonzo Ball and Isaiah Thomas. He's already proved he can't play with Isaiah Thomas in Cleveland. So I guarantee you, right now, I'll call it, live up to my name. If LeBron goes to LA, Lonzo, Isaiah, book your fucking plane ticket. You're out.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How the fuck that's what didn't make sense about the Thomas trade to L.A. If that's the destination LeBron wants to go, why the fuck would they trade him to L.A. unless it's just a rental?
Salary cap. Get rid of the salary cap, and then you take on Isaiah Thomas at a lower cost, and then you could trade him and get PG-13 perhaps. Trade him to OKC. Still get the name recognition of Isaiah Thomas at a way discounted price if you're OKC. LA is going to have to pay PG-13 a lot of money. A lot of money.
I don't know. I don't follow the NBA enough for this to make sense to me, I guess, because to me it seriously, all this sounds very
okay, let me put it to you in a term you understand.
convoluted, and it's like, no, I mean, I get it. I understand moving around players to get them under the salary cap so they can make the moves next season.
He might have asked his basketball expert friends. We don't know.
I did, but they're passing Isaiah Thomas around like Dallas.
Oh, okay. So now it's a podcast for two,
right?
And about 20 other guys from high school if they ever listen. Got it. All right.
I had to put it in your terms, Rich. It's fucking NBA.
I got you. All right. Well, have you guys gotten it out of your system, or do we want to hate on somebody in the NBA more?
It's been out of my system.
Okay.
There's nothing really to hate, man. It's a fun time in the NBA right now. Porzingis, see you later, dude. You were done, son.
If you just hated for an hour, you're like, oh, there's nothing to hate.
I only hate on one thing in the NBA. I don't hate the NBA. Did you see that Porzingis is done?
Yeah, he's injured.
ACL tear. He's done, dude.
Yeah, bye-bye. Didn't we cover that already?
Yeah, but I've been thinking about this. At his size, he's done. You're not coming back from an ACL tear being that size.
Dude, he's a rookie, isn't he?
No.
Your second year. He's a rookie. He's relatively new. It's the second year if it's not his rookie year. Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
not worried about that. I'm worried about his height, his size.
He's young. He'll be all right.
Okay. I don't think so.
Hey, you're the motherfucker saying Gronk fakes his injuries.
Oh, don't even get me started on this.
That's what I'm trying to do. So your ludicrous thought to be heard throughout the internet. People to hear when people hear the crazy shit that you say.
Yes, everybody that listens, I think Gronk fakes injuries to go party. And I don't just think it, I have proof. He was on an injury and then was on live national television on World Wrestling Entertainment spearing somebody in a ring. If he's injured and injured enough to not go make a fucking paycheck that week, the fuck is his ass doing out in the ring?
Because there's a big difference. There's a way.
What's the big difference?
Because because what he did with WWE might as well be West Side Story. There's a big difference between that and going out and getting hit by a bus.
Oh my God.
There's a lot.
If you're injured and you're injured enough that you're not going to go out and play for your team and help them win that week, you are injured. This is like a fucking parent, dude, talking to a kid. If you're too sick to go to school, you're too sick to go out and play.
Wow.
What the fuck is that?
I have nothing to say to that because just, wow. Like, this is expectation you set on a professional athlete.
This is an expectation I set on a fucking 6-year-old.
Well, if that is the case, obviously enough people on New England are okay with it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it was never about him. That is the greatest coach-quarterback combo in NFL history. They could take somebody out of the stands and win.
They didn't 2 weeks ago.
And before that, they hadn't before. Some days, they just can't. Overall, they can, and they've proven it.
Oh, but I bring that up, and it's fake.
It's all fake.
I bring it up, and you tell me it's fake.
Vince McMahon has planned all these sports. It's all fake.
That there's no way that they could totally get shut out by a team the next time that they play them. It has to be fake.
That was fake.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well,
You are all over the map. Let's
Since
come back to Earth.
Since we've officially seemed to move into the football portion of the show,
Yeah.
I guess we should talk about this legal move that we batted around pre-show. Colin Kaepernick's legal team was looking to depose
Papa
John himself for collusion with Uncle Jerry and other owners. And unless someone's come up with a theory since we talked about it an hour and a half ago, I'm still scratching my head about this going, what the fuck does this got to do with anything?
Like, this is the best you got, Papa John? Like, I'm on Kaepernick's side. But the first thing I thought is like, this really is the best you can do. I don't fuck.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, unless I'm missing some sort of legal maneuver here, it just seems like a fishing expedition. And maybe they're hoping to get him in a deposition to basically refuse to answer questions and cast some doubt there. But what good does that do in a trial?
My question is what questions are they going to ask Papa John?
You just said it, Rich. It's cast doubt. A good lawyer does not, care about, whether or not you did the crime. A good lawyer casts reasonable doubt. That's what this is. This is. I mean, smoke screen.
I understand, but this isn't a criminal case. Right? I mean, that's not. I know that sounded like a question, but it really wasn't. I just put the wrong inflection at the end there. I had a Christopher Walken moment. Sorry. But I mean, most likely it's going to be a judge sitting there. The judge ain't going to fall for no bullshit legal trickery. At least you hope. At least you hope that if they're a fucking judge, they've learned that. Like, okay, yeah, I'm glad that you paid attention in first year law school. Now, can we get on with the real shit here? I mean, I could understand if it was a criminal trial, getting someone who maybe you thought had information in respect to the crime on the stand in front of a grand jury, because if they start copping the fifth, well, boom. You know what I'm saying? You've set it up to where, okay, look, if you're going to plead the fifth, why don't you come in and see the prosecutor and have a little conference and have a little meeting here, and we're going to talk about why you're pleading the fifth. What do you know? And if you know enough, we'll look the other way on what you did, as long as you testify against your boy here. But that doesn't. Do you really think John Shatner, whatever the fuck his name is, Papa John, is going to fucking roll over on Jerry Jones to the tune where Kaepernick's lawyers are going to be happy? I don't. Them motherfuckers are still going to make money hand over fist.
My question remains the same. What the fuck does John know that he could tell them? He spends all of his time with Peyton Manning.
Yeah. We all got together at the meeting and said, fuck that N-word. Is that what they think he's going to say?
If you go by the CBS Sports article, it's because they feel that there's specifically that they're going to interview him about Jerry Jones and what role he may have played in the comments about players kneeling, and even to dig further, Donald Trump. I mean, something that we really haven't discussed that may be in play here is that these guys know this is a losing case. They know it's going to be damn near impossible to prove collusion. So what they're hoping to do is basically legally slander the NFL and the owners to the point where it puts a dent in their paychecks. And if that's the case, then yeah, expect a bunch of legal grandstanding and maneuvering and courtroom theatrics. Because at that point, you're not worried about winning the case. You're worried about making the people that you brought the case against look bad. Winning is...
Wait, that's not this. Mark Garrigus is his lawyer.
I feel like I know the name, but I feel like I should know exactly why I know the name, but I don't.
Jackson. He's Michael Jackson's lawyer.
Gotcha. Okay.
He was Scott Peterson's lawyer.
Ugh.
Okay, so far he's batting 500.
Right?
I mean, because look, I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a fan of Donald Trump and his nonsense statements that he had. It's why he's up there at some rally to feed his ego, talking about NFL players when he's president of the fucking country and he's got bigger problems to worry about is beyond me. But whatever.
He's campaigning for election.
Yeah, exactly. He still thinks crooked Hillary has a chance to win the 2016 election. That's the problem. But that's another podcast. you're going to do nothing but push people who are pro-Trump deeper into the pro-Trump camp, because it's going to come off like you're just trying to sling shit enough to get some on him. And the people who hate Trump are never going to fucking come over to the Trump side. I mean, at the very best, I mean, I'm talking ideal situations, the best you're going to do is get them to fucking be neutral about Trump. And that's asking for basically a miracle, divine intervention to happen. So once again, seems to me, well, let's drag their name through the mud, but we'll do it in a way to where they can't come after, they can't. Basically, Kaepernick wants his pound of flesh, and he wants to drag their name through the mud, and he knows if he does it through the legal system and he covers his ass well enough, they can't come back on him for it.
Well, here's my thought. If they're going to depose people like Papa John, why not depose Donald Trump? The man who said, fire those sons of bitches for taking a knee. I mean, if we're talking about collusion and saying that it's because Kaepernick's black and all of this, I mean, not for nothing, but it's not because he was black. It was because he was taking a knee. And Donald Trump said it publicly.
Yeah, but once again, dude, and, well, fuck it. We haven't had this fucking argument in a while. So I'll risk getting it going again.
It's the greatest hits episode.
Trump's very good at painting certain issues to be what they're not, but what he wants them to be. Okay. And the simple-minded among us who have bad bullshit detectors go for it hook, line, and sinker every time. Somehow, Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, protesting police officers killing unarmed black men turned into, in Donald Trump's world, he's disrespecting the troops. The troops were never mentioned by Colin Kaepernick. The United States military was never mentioned by Colin Kaepernick. Donald Trump framed that entire situation the way he wanted it to rally his base, and it worked. What Donald Trump says was going on is not based in reality, is not based on facts. It's based on his guiding the narrative to where he wants it. And the proof lies in the pudding that here we are, 2 years out, almost, and no one's talking about why Kaepernick took a knee. People are still crying about it's disrespecting the troops. The troops had nothing to do with him taking a fucking knee.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that it gets me. Colin Kaepernick, take a knee, sit down, lay down, don't even show up. I don't care. He's the only one that doesn't have a job that's taken a knee.
Because the first person through the wall pays the dearest price.
Oh, yeah?
The first guys that hit the beachhead at Normandy paid the most.
Yeah, that's history, man.
That's
how shit goes.
That's the nature of conflict. I mean, I'm not being, I swear, I'm not being flippant. I'm not being cavalier. I'm not trying to be sarcastic. It's just a fact. I mean, bottom line, you're a history major. You know this.
Yeah.
You know, and he was the perfect, to the left, he was the perfect person to take a knee. To the right, he was the perfect person to take a knee. Because they could arrange their narratives around him. To the left, it was, here you have a black quarterback adopted by a white family, blah, blah, blah. He went to a Super Bowl. He was a couple plays away from winning a Super Bowl, a couple plays from going back to a Super Bowl. They thought they had a bulletproof fucking icon. And the right came out and said, here you got a fucking black guy raised by white folks, adopted by white folks, who enjoyed all the white privilege that his white parents could give him, and now he's going to fucking blacken himself up and push his blackness with his afro and his kneeling.
All them niggers are kneeling.
You know, I mean...
Dude, that you guys see the Dave Chappelle? We talked about the national anthem in his recent stand-up specials. We talked about, he's like, if that's how I knew that's all I had to do to piss white people off.
Motherfuckers have been kneeling a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, he's just talking about like, oh, shit.
But
Why
no,
we got to
seriously.
march? Let's just take a knee.
But seriously, man, I mean, it's in a way, I kind of feel for Colin Kaepernick because whether I agree with his sentiment for why he did what he did, he's being used by a lot of people, and there's a lot of things being put on him that he never said, that he never did, that his taking a knee had nothing to do with, because people are projecting onto him their beliefs and their values, and he's either standing up to white supremacy, systematic racism, et cetera, or he's disrespecting the troops and he's disrespecting the national flag, and he just jerked off in your mom's apple pie. So, once again, even when he brought up even when we first brought up the subject to him bringing a collusion case against the NFL, I think we all pretty much agreed that that's good luck, bro. You're going to need it. That's a long shot, man. Because, look, we know O.J. killed those two people. We know Michael Jackson touched little boys' booty holes. We can't prove it in court. All right? But it doesn't change the fact that we know what the fuck happened. Because in court, it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you can prove.
I mean, at the level of wealth that the NFL owners are, those guys don't turn on each other. You know, the lower levels of wealth, those guys will turn on each other to acquire more wealth.
That's what I'm saying. If this is trying to drive a wedge between Papa John and Uncle Jerry, this is a wasted fucking effort. Because
I just want to be there when he gets deposed, because I just want to hear him say they have better ingredients, they have a better team.
He's
Dallas Cowboys.
He's gonna show up with pizza to his deposition. Hey, I brought pizza. Who's hungry?
Well, I mean, another factor is this case is going to cost somebody a whole lot of money when the winner or loser or it gets thrown out. And the person who brought the case, if it gets thrown out, most likely the person who brought the case is going to get saddled with the legal bills. Jerry Jones and Papa John have fuck you money. Colin Kaepernick does not.
Not anymore.
He hasn't played in 2 years.
Well, you know, hopefully his white family invested well for him.
Either that or his one name girlfriend, who I can't remember her name because that's how much I give a shit about the bitch, hooked him up with a good financial advisor. Because if not, I don't know. To me, the end game's muddy on this. What is he expecting? Because I can't see this case working out in his favor.
The money's not in the rims; it's in the rim company. Colin, just remember that.
Well, I mean, there was a collusion case brought up against the Major League Baseball, and they were found to have colluded against free agents. And it was years after Curt Flood basically was running point, the tip of the spear on that one. But it cost him his career. But ultimately, what did he get from it? I mean, if you're in that much of a hurry to crawl up on the cross and be a martyr, I guess it makes sense. But I don't know.
Not to switch gears here, but did we ever get into that story about baseball right now where they're talking about a spring training protest because of the lack of free agent activity in the offseason? Signing the free agents?
Well, I was hoping we'd save that for when Todd comes on. And it looks like maybe the hold on here. I'll give an estimate here. Because I just talked to him about this. Maybe
do you have a schedule? Are you secretary?
Oh, I was thinking maybe pitchers and catchers just reported. So let's give it a couple weeks. And I was thinking the show we record on the 6th of March, he could be on.
Cool.
And, I mean, as far as all the free agency shit, yeah, I'm just going to be honest with you. He knows a lot more of the ins and outs and shit than I do. I know in very broad strokes what's going on. And I mean,
do the players have a beef?
From the way sports teams are trying to build championship runs, not really. This is money. It's basically Moneyball. Mm-hmm. It's basically Moneyball. You want to look at a team who looked at the old model of how to win in the sport. Look at the Chicago Blackhawks. Now look at them. Look at them now compared to where they were. They're in salary cap hell, just like the Red Wings. And, they got bounced around by the worst team in the league just a few nights ago. I mean, it was like 6-1. I mean, it was bad. And that's what happens when you sign these quote-unquote big-name stars to these long-term contracts. It wasn't just baseball that took its cue from the whole Bill James, Moneyball, metrics thing. All sports have done it, especially sports with a salary cap, which is ironic because baseball really doesn't have one. It has a luxury tax, but no salary cap.
What's this, man, with that? They're talking about strike again, and I'm like, man, baseball, do you really got another half a decade to waste for people to be interested again? Because that's what it took, really. It took McGuire and Sosa at the end of the 90s to get people to start coming back. Because, I mean, we talked about this. For me, that was a pivotal point in my life. Like, I was a super baseball fan when I was a kid, and that strike happened. I was like 14 or 15. And by the time baseball came back, too late, Titty showed up. Wasn't interested. Was more interested in trying to figure out what the inside of a vagina felt like with my dick. But just too, it seemed like the country was kind of like, like it took a minute for people to come back around again. So, I mean, you willing to roll that dice, MLB?
Baseball is really goddamn popular right now. I mean, look, unquestionably, NFL is king. Period. There's no point even talking about it. Baseball, I think, is far outpacing NBA and NHL, and NASCAR, if you want to throw them in there.
Hey,
it's just the truth, man. And I mean, baseball is not a regional sport. It's not hockey's a regional sport. NASCAR is a regional sport for the most part. Yes, both have gotten bigger in popularity to where non-traditional parts of the country will watch them. But a lot of that has to do with people relocating and shit. It's word of mouth that spreads it. I mean, you can go down to Atlanta and talk about the Atlanta Thrashers and see how many people fucking perk up when you say that name. All right, come up here and talk about
or the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Come up here and start talking about, what happened at Bristol, blah, 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 and watch people's eyes glaze over unless you're catching the people who, are hardcore car guys.
Well, you go up north, are you in the Yoopers? But yeah, no, around here, yeah. In the city folk, downstate?
No, they don't give a shit for the most part.
Well, there's a lot of people that like MIS, though.
No, but still, it's just...
It's nowhere close to Comerica Park, you're right.
It's a bad look for baseball because you got owners making money hand over fist. You have ratings that are going up. You have interest. You have teams that have historically been the lovable losers, the Cubs. The Red Sox, everybody's over the Red Sox except for Red Sox Nation for the most part. But, I mean,
the Indians don't suck.
The last 14 years, yeah, fucking Kansas City won a goddamn fucking World Series. Went to 2 of them. Baseball is in the middle of taking a huge dive here in Detroit. But from 2006 until last season, you could still find the Tigers faithful out there going, we're going to do it this year. You ain't hearing that shit. Tigers Fest was selling tickets and then giving tickets away this year. They haven't done that in over a decade, guys. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, but still, there's interest there. For the players to strike, that's especially over not being signed, that's going to be an issue. And let's be honest, in sports, the old model of free agency was, because when you come into the league, I believe the league, this is why I really want Todd here, because I'm pretty sure I'm wrong on my numbers, but I think when you come into the league, the team that drafted you controls you for the first 6 years. And usually guys play out of their mind for the first 6 years, and then they go sign the big contract. Teams used to do whatever they could to hold on to those guys. Nowadays, not so much. look, we got case in point, Rick Porcello. Look at what happened with him. He was going to be, him and Verlander, they were going to end their career as Tigers, and not one, not two, not three. Detroit lets him go. Yeah, he had a Cy Young season, but what happened after that? Is he really worth the money he's paid? Max Scherzer is the exception that proves the rule these days. How many? Anibal Sanchez, was he worth the money that we paid him?
Wah wah.
I mean, Verlander had a love-hate relationship with Detroit Tigers fans because unless it was the playoffs, most Tigers fans were like, get rid of him. He's past his prime. He's over the hill. And that, for a man who wants to base his career on the career of Nolan Ryan, he had to be like, well, then fuck it. You know what? I've always accepted I wasn't going to end my career as a Tiger. I'll go have a career renaissance someplace else. And he got traded, and a few months later, he won a World Series.
Months, not years, months. Maybe dare we say, weeks.
Yeah.
Because, beginning of September, beginning of August, he went away. So, like, fucking...
10, 11 weeks?
Yeah, not even 3 months later, yeah.
Yeah, James Harrison tried that, and oops.
James Harrison still went to Super Bowl. James Harrison went a lot fucking farther than
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Harrison went to Minneapolis this year.
I mean, I don't know. It's baseball really can't afford to take that hit, but at the same time, what are the players if they strike, what are they trying to prove? That they're trying to force employers to hire them?
I know, right?
For more money than they're worth. They want to get paid based on past performance, not current and future potential.
They're like the fucking $15 an hour people.
But I mean, it'd be different if you had people that you hired in at minimum wage and earned your fucking and moved your company up and moved you as the owner of the company into fucking 5 tax brackets above where you were when they started, and then you fucking cut them loose and started the cycle over again with a bunch of people in minimum wage versus
true.
We need more money to live. I mean, that's basically that. Okay, I understand. But what do you bring to the table? And you guys know 90% of the time I fall on the side of labor when it comes to these disputes in sports because people go, oh, these contracts, these players are ridiculous. Well, if they're handing out $250 million contracts to players, how much money are the owners making off of them? You can times that by 5 at the least.
Yeah, somebody signed a ridiculous contract this last week. Baseball. Yu Darvish. Did he sign like a ridiculous
Chicago.
deal. Yeah.
And exactly. And I was talking to Todd about it, and he said that's the exact example he pointed to. He said Chicago's paying him for past performance and hoping that it holds up.
That's an article. I don't remember who it was, but basically the Cubs blinked, and so Darvish got paid.
So baseball players, what they need to do is they need to understand, just like we have plenty of people in this country who used to make a very good living off of manufacturing jobs. The model that they used to make that good of a living under is no longer economically viable.
Well, too, there's also the other option of the owners who'd be like, oh, you're going to strike? There's a bunch of motherfuckers in Toledo who fucking would love your gig. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we'll just go to the minors. Fuck all y'all.
And there's that too.
Yeah, fine, great. We'll just bring up everybody. There's a bunch of people down in AAA that would fucking great. Hey, guess who's playing in the show? Everybody. Because these guys don't want to play because we won't pay we won't buy them their summer house in Nantucket.
Well, there is a little bit of breaking news not a little bit. It's just breaking news in the hockey world. It was rumored right before we all connected and started doing the pre-show talk. It's official now. Dion Phaneuf has gone to L.A. for Marian Gaborik.
I saw that.
And apparently Nate Thompson went to LA also. Nick Shore went to Ottawa. But you know, fuck it. It's the slow part of the sports season. I just got to make a confession here. I just have to give up the ghost. I don't give a fuck about the NHL until playoffs anymore. Like, I've been really trying to hold on to, like, I'm the hockey guy, because I used to be that guy. Any game I could watch, I'd watch. I just can't do it anymore. And it's not just the product on the ice. It's a lot of everything. It's the fan base. It's a whole new generation of fans that have come up that have no idea how the game is supposed to be played. They have no respect for the game that came before them. They have no respect for the players that played the game before them. And they're just like, well, this is the players that are closest to age as us, so these are the best players that have ever played. And it doesn't matter what stats you throw at them. It doesn't matter what facts you throw at them.
Oh, it's the we were talking about on Regimented, the millennial mindset of history started when I was born.
Pretty much. And the NHL's happy to do it because they finally have what they set out to do when Bettman came into power, which was have a culture shift that they understood was going to take 20 to 25 years. And it's 25 years this year since Bettman became commissioner of the NHL. And he has socially engineered the game to where he wants it. And he has convinced an entire generation of hockey fans that the inferior product they're watching is the best product that's ever been offered by the league.
You don't want that brutish, barbarian hockey from the 80s. It's a finesse game now.
But the irony is that these are also people who grew up, especially here locally. These are Red Wings fans who grew up. Yes, they were watching the Russian Five. The Red Wings did play more of a European style of play. All right. But they also witnessed firsthand in the formative years of their fanhood, the rivalry between the Anal Munch and the Red Wings. They got to see it. And you can't fucking tell me there was one person sitting in their seat when McCarty beat the dog shit out of Claude Lemieux.
Oh, rearranged his face.
Not even at the bars surrounding Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. That was must-see television, period. I mean, that is like
the Bobby Thompson right now.
That is like the Bobby Thompson home run. The lore around the Bobby Thompson home run is that the stadium that he hit it in would hold 25,000 people. But by 1 week after he hit that home run, the Giants win the pennant home run, half of New York City claimed to be there. That's how it was with that game, that game in March in 1997 with the Red Wings and the Avalanche. And these are the same people that are now sitting here going, no, that's boring hockey. It's more exciting now.
What?
This is what I hear all the time. It's faster.
Whatever.
So a faster shit product is still a shit product. It's just faster.
Attention deficit having motherfucker.
You lying motherfucker. That's what that is.
But can you be shocked that the Adderall generation wants to watch a bunch of speedsters skate up and down the ice, never touching each other? No, basically doing their best to turn it into a fucking minimal contact sport. Any hit that happens, whether it's their team laying the hit or taking the hit, they want, give them a power play, give them a 5-minute major, give them this, give them that. That fucking, okay, yes, it was a slash that Bertuzzi put on. I can't remember who he put it on.
It looks 5-on-2.
The dude from the Islanders.
Islanders, right? Yeah. Oh, my God.
But a 5-minute major? Really? Get the fuck out of here, dude. You're going to give him a major and you're going to give him the gate? Really? Basically, you're saying score as much as you want until the penalty runs out. Over that bullshit? I mean, it used to be you literally had to flip your stick around, hold it like a baseball bat, and try to take the dude's head off for something like that to happen. Now these fucking pussies are out here and embellishing everything. And don't get me wrong, there is dirty play all the time still. All the time. It's just the nature of the sport. You get into a scrum, there's not nice things going on in that scrum. They're not swapping crock pot recipes. But it's just,
Hey, Bill, what you doing this weekend? Nothing, Bob. Ugh.
if someone said, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" he'd be like, "Your fucking wife, you piece of shit. Why don't you dust that pussy off every once in a while? Save me the hassle of doing it
Pound your teeth in.
with the base of my dick." You know, yeah.
Dude, I can't see anybody who watched the Avalanche Red Wings rivalry say that it's better today than it was then.
I talked to him.
They're fucking lying.
Like the little kids, maybe, that grew up and says, "Oh, it's better today." But people our age, no.
No. People our age, no. These are people, for the most part, they're in their late 20s to mid 30s.
Oh no, yeah. Oh yeah.
But here's the thing: you still have no excuse. You're old enough to remember it. All right, you're old enough to remember it and to understand what you were watching. It's not like it happened when you're 4 or 3 years old and
Yeah,
you have
but
vague
like you said,
memories
though.
of it.
But like you said, though, Rich, it's a different era for them because they remember it, but they also went through a school and a school system that's like, fighting is bad, okay? You can't bully people, okay? Hurting people's bad, okay? Everybody's special, okay?
And the problem is, it's all that turned out to be bullshit. Fighting is fine fighting is fine if you punch a fascist / Nazi. And anyone who disagrees with you, conveniently, is a fascist and a Nazi. And bullying is fine if it's politically correct bullying. If it's someone who goes, "I'm a Christian and I don't agree with homosexual marriage," it's okay for the whole class to gang up and call that person a homophobe and ostracize him. It's okay. See, whereas before, it was, let's go play a game of Smear the Queer. Now, the pendulum swung far back, and as Aaron on Unregimented says all the time, the overcorrection has taken over.
Now the queer smears you.
Pretty much. And I can't get down. I cannot care less about regular season hockey. And it sucks, man. Like I've tried. I've tried watching games. I've tried listening to games. I've tried, reading box scores. Beginning of this season, I read more hockey, or before the season started, leading up to the season, I read more hockey news than I had since I had literally it was a paper in my hand, except for I was doing it online now.
What Rich is saying is he's done what he can to try to save the marriage.
I don't care anymore. I don't. When I have your younger hockey fans trying to tell me that the game is more exciting today than during the Gretzky, Lemieux, Yzerman era.
I would leave. I would leave that conversation. I'll pull Homer Simpson. I'll just stop talking and turn around.
Well, yeah, it's
Just walk out of the room.
I don't know.
But hey, Seattle's got a hockey team, huh? They officially today applied for an expansion team.
Well, are they going to get an expansion team, or are they going to get the Coyotes?
No, it's an expansion team. It's the 32nd team in the league.
Which, by the way, an amusing hockey story from that part of the country from this weekend. I'm working, and a bunch of 20-somethings working, and they have on what they call a classic rock station, which, so for us, it sounds like rock radio did in high school. But that goddamn Blackhawks song comes on the radio. We all know. Do they still play it when they score? Do they still play that when the Blackhawks score? Is that still a thing?
I have no idea. That's how little I've watched this season, man. I couldn't tell you.
Well, just it's on, and I make a remark to the guy. Oh, hey, it's a Blackhawks song. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's the Chicago Blackhawks. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the Chicago Blackhawks, the hockey team. He's like, oh yeah. He's like they play this song when they score. I might as well have been speaking Spanish to this guy. Yeah, putting a hockey team in that part of the country. I was in Portland.
Oh, Chris Carter. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Ice hockey. NHL. Original Six team.
The irony of the Golden Knights is they're doing as well as they're doing So the NHL has been able to use them as the example to hold up and say, see, if you do it right, you can turn non-hockey fans into hockey fans. We have had multiple conversations about how that is not the normal outcome of an expansion team.
Yeah, no, motherfucker. That's not how that works with expansion team generally. This is the one time out of 1,000.
Well,
exactly.
I'm gonna hold off because it's been that way in the past, but because of the era of the world we live in today, anything's possible. I don't know how they did it. I really don't.
Well, yeah, the guy who had to fire Brett Michaels is our president, so.
I don't know how the Golden Knights did it. I don't know, the right people at the right place at the right time, I guess, to get the right players.
If you're anybody, if you're into sports, maybe you host a small sports podcast, available every Tuesday at ChristopherMedia.net. You're dissecting that organization. You're looking at who's the GM, who made all the draft picks. I mean, you should. I mean, at least if you're an NHL team, like, Jesus Christ, did we pass on this guy? You're trying to figure out how they caught that lightning in the bottle.
I don't know, man. I just keep flashing back to, the old timers when we were young would talk about hockey, and even they would go, yeah, we never had a Gretzky. Hockey, the NHL has been around for 100 years. It is safe to say Gretzky is, and maybe Lemieux, out of players that have retired in that 100 years, okay? I'll reserve judgment on the players still playing until they're retired. But in 100 years, that is a once, maybe twice in a lifetime type player you see.
What about Gordie Howe?
Yeah, but Gordie Howe played forever. And Gordie Howe, he wasn't... to me, he's the greatest all-around hockey player ever, period. Because he had something that Lemieux and Gretzky and Yager never had. And that is get in the corner and fuck with Gordie Howe, and Gordie Howe's going to let you... He's going to point to when Gordie Howe gets done with you, people can point to the ice and show you where the fight happened. Because your blood's all over it. Okay, Gretzky, remember watching one of the Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em tapes? Yep. And it was the Gretzky fight, and he wouldn't even drop his gloves, and he was getting rocked, and McSorley was tied up by the lineman trying to get over there to defend him.
Yep.
Yeah. That would never have happened with Gordie Howe. Gordie Howe would have been like, oh, you want to go? Oh, we can do this. But still, even then, they could go, okay, yes, the skill of the players is far beyond what it was back then. There wasn't guys lining up from taking slap shots from the blue line like they started doing, in the late 70s, 80s, 90s, etc. When Gordie Howe was, first playing in the 40s, 50s. Maybe some of the 60s you started seeing it because you had, but even then, a guy like Bobby Orr he wasn't a defensive defenseman. Bobby Orr was like a fucking forward playing defense. I mean, he'd pinch in and make plays. Once again, we're talking very rare air players. What do we have now? A bunch of guys who skate fast who don't even get half the point totals of the players who played 20, 30 years ago. And the NHL is going to go, but it's a better product. It's more exciting. Why? Because they skate fast? Because there's no contact? Give me straight open ice. I can get some pretty good speed going.
Because the goalies can't stop a Mack truck?
I mean, it's...
When back in the day, a 5-6 game was like, holy shit, what was that, triple overtime? How the hell did that happen?
Unless certain teams are playing, yeah. I mean,
and now it's every day. Now if it's like 1-2 or 2-3, you're like, the fuck?
I went onto a hockey page on Facebook, and there was a bunch of people basically talking about, all you old timers, aka anyone over 35, you need to shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear about Gretzky. No one wants to hear about Lemieux. They weren't that good anyways. This is literally what was being said. And so,
shut up, adults are talking.
against my better judgment, I decided to pull a Chris, just to give them the raw stats. And I said, here are the numbers for last season as far as league leaders. Here are the numbers from 30 years ago as far as league leaders. Here are the numbers from 20 years ago as far as league leaders. Do you see these point totals aren't even close to point totals back then? What is the difference in the game? Because according to you, back then, you could clutch, you could grab, you could interfere. The game was watered down with goons who couldn't play, despite the fact that you had guys like Jeff Bukaboom, Scott Stevens, Bob Probert making fucking all-star teams, you know, but that's not what they've been brainwashed to believe about the history of hockey by the Bettman bunch. It's been, no, these guys are bad. You can't waste a spot on your roster for a guy who's only going to play 7 minutes a game and whose job is to go out there and make sure no one fucks with your star. Well, what happens when you have one or two guys on a team to make sure your star players have the room to make plays? You get 160-point seasons, 140-point seasons. The proof is in the fucking pudding. And admittedly, the game was much more clutching and grabbing. You could hit damn near anybody. If they even looked at the puck, they were fair game. Now, if they're not receiving or passing the puck, you better not even come close to them because it's interference. So they've opened the game up. Why hasn't scoring gone through the roof? Are you going to tell me these are the best goalies we've ever seen in the history of hockey? No. Because I could point to a bunch who will prove you wrong if that's what you believe. So what is it then? What is it? What's different? Oh, it's a fast game. Fastest game on earth. Fastest game on ice. That's what they... Remember when they were pimping that shit for a minute? That was their slogan? NHL, the fastest game on ice. It's the only game on ice.
I was just about to say, it's the only...
What, curling?
Yeah.
Curling? So I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm sitting here talking about a friend who drank himself to death or overdosed, you know, at like 32 and died. That's what I honestly, because I'm just like, it's a fucking waste, man. It's a waste. And
wake you in April?
Pretty much. And it sucks because I used to hate the playoff hockey fans, because it's like, how could you not be into this sport? If there's a fight in the playoffs, you're all excited. If there's a lot of heavy checking and hitting in the playoffs, you get all excited. All that shit happens during the regular season. Now, it doesn't. So what are the stakes? Well, stakes don't really get raised till it's fucking do or die time in the playoffs. And yeah, the NHL playoffs, even though they've restructured how they seed them, which is absolute bullshit in my opinion, but whatever, I don't want to get into that. That's a fucking hour conversation I can have by myself. It's still 16 fucking teams out of 31 show up. And the one thing I will give it is that if they wanted parity in the league, that's the one thing they've accomplished. Just like the NFL. If the NFL wanted parity in the league, that's the one thing they accomplished. But what happened? What do we see in the regular season of the NFL? A bunch of games no one really gives a shit about. How many times when we were doing picks were we like, oh, God, yawn? But yet when the playoffs came, there were some fucking great games this year in the playoffs.
Hell yeah, there were.
You're killing your regular season, hoping that people will still stick around to watch the playoffs. Everybody's going to watch the Super Bowl, even if they don't fucking like football. Chances are they're going to be someplace where the game's on. Okay, so you got asses in the seats. You know, you got a halftime show. You got commercials for people who really don't give a shit about the game. Whatever. But is that expanding your sport? I mean, the NHL All-Star game came and went, and all people were talking about is the John Scott NHL hockey game or NHL All-Star game. The one a few years ago where they carried him off on their fucking shoulders after the league basically fucking screwed him out of a career. Because how dare a goon be popular? And what did he do? He just went in and dominated. So that's going to tell you something right there. Even the players know in their heart of hearts who the fucking guys who put asses in the seats and keep people coming back are. But, you know, I understand they don't speak up. I understand that you're probably going to have a lot of guys who are right now nearing retirement when they finally do retire and they get a few years out and they've settled into whatever life they've settled into. If they're not involved with the NHL, you're going to start hearing, I guarantee a lot of guys speak up and go, yeah, it was a pretty bad period. It sucked. They killed off an entire portion of the game. I mean, Imagine if we're sitting here in 10 years talking about how there's no more kick return or punt return in football. And they're doing their best to get rid of it as is. But, I mean, that's a whole element of the game. If they just removed it and made no bones about it and said that's what they're going to do, instead of pussyfoot around like the NFL does now, if the NFL just said, fuck it, we're just going to, you go for 4 downs and then it's turnover, whatever. We can't have these injuries on these special teams anymore. It would suck. You just took a whole element out of the game. That's what the NHL's done. And all I'm saying is, where's the excitement? Where's the
playoffs?
Exactly.
Hey, took you till past the All-Star break to really tee off on the NHL this year.
It's because I don't care anymore. You know what I am? I'm the guy in a relationship who's tried and tried and tried, and eventually I just give up.
I said you've done what you did to keep this marriage together. Two people have to try, not just one person.
No, okay, Red Wings, yeah, okay, whatever. Once again, I'm not going to have a rooting interest as far as my team in the playoffs this year. That's fine.
They're solidly 500. They're 23-23. With 9 overtime losses.
I am more interested in, I want to see how far the Golden Knights go. Because the bitch of it is that if the Golden Knights go and win the cup, they shat all on the face of what the NHL is trying to do. Because every fucking player almost, except for Fleury, who you could say that the Penguins said, fuck it, he's over the hill.
Oh, he would, yeah, over the hill, huh? Win you a cup and then you fucking ship me out? Eat a dick.
Except for Fleury, basically, all those teams that left those players unprotected, they were third and what used to be fourth line guys. And now you have a team full of those guys and they're dominating. So
I would say chip on the shoulder had something to do with it.
Exactly. But also, doesn't it prove that those guys that the NHL says really don't need in the league anymore, they're marginal NHL players at best?
You got your margin.
When you give them a coach who knows, and trust me, I remember Gerard Gallant as a player. He knows how to play the game. All right, that fucker was old school. All right, and he fucking guides that team to play that way. What do you get? You get a team that's the hottest team in the league right now. So yeah, I kind of want to see the fucking Golden Knights go deep, and fuck it, if they get to the finals, win the cup, win the whole fucking thing, and blow up all these bullshit preconceived notions that the NHL has implanted in all these young fans' heads about, well, if you don't have 3 lines of star players. No. Everybody's got to have star players, star this. Everybody's got to have speedsters. You can't have grinders out there. Guys, it's not just the goons anymore. Look, the role of goon / enforcer is all but dead. Now it's the time for guys like the Draper type guys, the Adam Deadmarsh type guys, the Kurt Maltby type guys, the Scott Stevens type guys. Now they're on the chopping block. Literally, 10 years from now, it's going to be fucking ice skating with fucking sticks and a puck.
Like figure skating. Like the Olympics.
Yep.
Speaking of not caring, oh man, do I not care about the Olympics.
Hey, before we jump into that, how about Mike and Jamel?
Touch on that. A little bit more social justice in the show. Yeah, how about him? I sent you that article today. Like, my whole take on it is, I told you in the chat, man, Mike, that it ain't your show, Holmes. It ain't your network. He's talking like it's your show. It's your...
First of all, let's do something. Let's establish a few things.
Yeah.
This is a Yahoo Sports article.
Yeah.
And I know Yahoo Sports kind of gets laughed at in certain circles, but you got to remember the last time the U got burned, Yahoo Sports was at the forefront of that article. They're the ones that did the fucking investigative reporting. It's pretty, I mean, as just a little side note, it's pretty ironic that there's better investigative reporting in sports these days than there is in the actual news media, but okay. So they put the article out because you knew damn well it wasn't coming from ESPN. ESPN will never air its dirty laundry like this.
It's true. I'm ranting on something with no context. So, yes, continue, Rich.
So, yeah. So, Michael Smith, he's still a SportsCenter host for now.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much for now.
And he's pissed off because he feels that ESPN altered him and Jamel Hill's The Six SportsCenter show. And, the example he gives is that the reason they paired him up and gave him the prime slot, the flagship spot, was because the chemistry between them. And then when they started and once again, they forgot they were sports journalists and they thought they were crusaders. And ESPN didn't hire them to be crusaders. If you want to change the course of history, you're not going to do it from ESPN's 6 o'clock SportsCenter desk.
Mm-hmm.
And
funny, real quick here, he said ESPN broke it up. Felt that he felt that ESPN altered it because there's an article, Jamel Hill from USA Today, dated February 4th. She says she spoke to For the Win and said it was 100% my choice for her to leave SportsCenter. So who do we believe here?
Well, what Michael Smith is saying, Smith's basically saying that ESPN liked the chemistry and the banter back and forth between him and Jamel Hill. They gave him the flagship spot. When they gave him the flagship spot, they started going off a script. As Earl has pointed out constantly since they took over that 6 o'clock spot, it was less about sports highlights, stats, and sports stories, and more about opinions on the culture surrounding sports. And there was the backlash, because you have a lot of people who, right or wrong, they don't want their sports served. They don't want their politics served with a side of sports.
Yeah, they're called dudes. Like we've all said it, man. When I'm checking on the sports page, I'm looking for information. I'm looking for fucking opinions. Who won the game? Who threw the most touchdowns? Who scored the most points?
I get where they wanted to be, but they should have stayed Mike and Jamel. They had their own show. They should have stayed there. You could give all the culture and the blackness and your opinions on it and everything on your show called Mike and Jamel. But when you come to SportsCenter, I want replays. I want live shots. I want total scores. I want facts about who hit what, when, and where, and how. I don't care what race they were. I don't care what you think they should have played and didn't because they're black. I don't care about that shit.
I want an information aggregator. This is what I want.
Great hosts of SportsCenter and newscasters on SportsCenter were able to do it and did it in a way that made them so famous. Just made it more exciting to give you the news. Boomer would come out. He could go all the way, all of that shit. Booyah! All of that.
Or SVP doing overnights. He'll give you his opinion. He gives you the plays.
Right. He's the bad beats and all of this. He still has gimmicks and things that make it exciting to watch and fun to watch, but you still get your sports handed to you.
The news is on one channel, sports is on another channel.
That's it.
Well, Michael Smith appeared on James Andrew Miller's podcast, and this is the direct quote that they quoted him in the article. There was a time when we weren't even talking to each other on air anymore, Smith said. Like, no more Michael and Jamil, not less, not here, not there. No more Michael and Jamil talking, no more of their commentary. It's just strictly live shots and analysis. That's what pissed me off so much. I'm like, so wait a second. You all acknowledge that one of the strengths we have going for us as a show is that Michael and Jamel's chemistry. Michael and Jamel don't fucking talk to each other. How does that make sense? Or, well, doesn't expletive talk to each other. How does that make sense?
Because, in my opinion, Michael and Jamel got too big for their britches. Wow, I know that really sounded old, but I mean, that's really what happened. Is you got like it's the symptom that Rich. I'm sure you deal with it all the time in the industry we both work in. We've dealt with this attitude a lot. ESPN was around before you. They will be around after you. You know, if Mike and Jamel get hit by a bus on their way to SportsCenter's going to keep on moving.
Yeah, Stuart Scott's dead, and I'm gonna tell you what, that was the reason for me to tune into SportsCenter a lot of times when he was on in the 90s and the 2000s.
Mm-hmm. Booyah!
You know, I mean, look, the rotation in and out of sports talking heads, of the anchors, you just, it's something you learn to accept. Mm-hmm. All right. These guys rotated themselves out.
Yeah,
they took themselves out of the rotation. They got wrapped up in the Twitter sphere, thinking that's the real world. That the echo chamber that they move in online is how everybody who watches them feels. And the reality of it is that we know this, everyone listening knows this, and we three know this. Right now is the most divided this country's been in all of our lives. You cannot not take a position on any subject. If you say, I understand where both sides are coming from about anything, both sides will, both extremes from the left and right will attack you. If you refuse to say anything, you're assigned a side. You're assumed to be the enemy, because only the enemy would refuse to speak up in the face of such injustice. And both sides feel like they're the biggest victims on the planet. See, this isn't just the left playing the victim anymore. This is the right playing the victim. And there's a lot of that shit going on. The problem is, you want to discuss that, then Michael, Jamel, you know what you do? You get yourself a podcast. You sign whatever contract you have to sign that says when you're at ESPN, you're about sports. You want to go comment about social issues and how they relate to sports? Save it for your podcast. Get yourself an article, right? I mean, the very fact that shows like the sports writers is no longer on ESPN, and it's all shows that's either let's have people argue and yell over each other, or SportsCenter. And for a minute there, the very, slanted to one side politically SportsCenter. This is my problem. He's looking at the failure of them together on the 6 o'clock spot as not their failure, as everybody else's failure. See, this is the new shit that we're being told by people these days. And it very well may be true. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. All right? But the shit we're being told these days is that history will prove that they were on the right side. History will look back favorably upon them. That very well may be true. Because at one point, most people in this country despised Muhammad Ali. Now he's revered as a national hero. When that man died, you'd have thought a fucking former president died. All right? But at one point, a lot of these people in this country hated him. So they very well could be right. But they ain't right now. And right now is what ESPN cares about. And like you said, Chris, they got too big for their britches and they got to feeling themselves a little too much.
On both parts, everybody's wrong here, in my opinion. Mike and Jamel had a show. They could do Mike and Jamel, go back and forth, do that banter, get that connection, draw their audience, whoever their audience is. And it's somewhere in there they could talk about sports. And that's what they did. That was the Mike and Jamel show. But ESPN said, ooh, they're getting a huge following. Put them in prime time. And when that happened, it inflated their fucking egos. That's right. We're the shit. Now watch us take it prime time. And the backlash of everything Jamel Hill was doing in the social media, they were like, oh, shit, made a mistake. Yeah, let's get them out of here.
Well, yeah. In the end, she threatened a gravy train. You don't do that. All right? Mickey Mouse feeds on cash. All right? He needs daily cash infusions. All right. And bad mouthing someone who drops millions into your operation every year. You know, that ain't going to keep Mickey Mouse alive.
Well, what the problem is that with this particular story is that because we have such a short attention span, and apparently the whole country has early onset Alzheimer's, we forget that both Michael Smith and Jemele Hill have been given and are still being given fucking a 6-lane highway worth of leeway compared to someone like Curt Schilling. Curt Schilling got a warning that was not private. It was basically an open letter to the public and him about what he tweets. He didn't stop. In fact, he doubled down on it, and they showed him the door. Jemele Hill went out and attacked sponsors of ESPN and the NFL, and in particular the Dallas Cowboys, to send a message to Jerry Jones.
And the President of the United States.
They suspended her.
And let's make sure we got a correct narrative going here. She does still work for them. They moved her into a blog. Like, she's still actually, ESPN is still giving her money, but she's now writing for a blog that's more socially oriented. Like, it has to do with like black culture. What'd you say, Robot Man?
You broke up, bud.
I said they kicked her out of prime time.
Yes. They took her off. She got called up to the show, and she fucked up, and she got sent back down to the minors, in a sense.
I was watching Around the Horn. She was one of the 4 people. I was like, oh,
damn, oh, ouch, ouch,
okay.
Ouch. SportsCenter anchor to guest on Around the Horn. Oof. That's Around the Horn's like the state fair at ESPN. If you're on Around the Horn, you're either on your way up or on your way down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they moved her to the Undefeated, which, like you said, is like a blog that covers more of what seems to be. And okay, wait a minute. She says she asked to be moved to the Undefeated. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, because from what I've read of that blog, it seems to be a blog that basically focuses more on sports culture and social issues. So if that's where she wants to focus her attention, that is a better place for her to be. But the sour grapes of Michael Smith, saying that, ESPN panicked, didn't know how to handle, me and Jemele, so they muted us.
That's a man not interested in employment much longer.
Well, the beauty of it is he even admits, he said, to quote the article, Smith later explained that he and Hill knew there would be a pushback to the way they wanted to do things, but said the two did not fight, meaning fight against ESPN. They backed down, and ESPN got what they wanted. That's a direct quote from Smith, which was Michael and Jemele being muted. It frustrated the shit out of us, or expletive out of us, whatever he said. Okay, well, how are you going to take a victory lap if you back down? See, once again, you want to be the Rosa Parks. You want to be the Muhammad Ali, but you don't want to be arrested, and you don't want to be stripped of your fucking heavyweight title. You want to be able to do it and have everyone love you constantly. That's not the way this works.
Quite literally, have your cake and eat it too.
Yes. That's not the way this works. Nobody who's going to ruffle feathers is going to be universally loved while ruffling feathers. Period.
Martyrs generally lose something. Jobs, lives.
Careers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all there is to it.
Freedoms.
And this is, God damn, I hate to say it, because they're both old enough to know better. I think they're both older than me even. And I'm the oldest one on the show.
No, Jemele Hill, she's younger. I think she's in like her late 20s.
She's 42, dude.
Really?
Yeah. Oh. Well, she's born in 75 here in Detroit.
Black don't crack.
What the fuck? Racist.
No, but it can crease. We discovered that on Unregimented one night.
That's true.
But no, I think Michael Smith, I don't know. Here, hold on. Because I want to make sure I'm being correct on his age. I Okay, he's 38. I'm sorry. So basically, him and I are
Our
chewing
age.
some of the same dirt.
Yeah.
She's a little bit older than me. Still, the point stands. They fucking know better. All right? You're not... Come on, guys. If, everything you hear, and I'm not doubting that this is true, I'm just pointing the facts out from their mouth, their collective mouth, to our ears. Everything you hear about being a black journalist in sports or in news is that you have to work 5 times as hard as the white guy next to you. If you're a woman and you're black, it's doubly so. You have to fight and claw for everything you get. So you know that. You got where you're at. You got that 6 o'clock flagship Sports Center spot due to your fucking hard work. Yet once you get there, you let this entitlement mentality set in of, I should be able to do what I want and everybody should be cool with it. That's not how that's not how the world works. And that is a mental illness to look at things and not see what they are, but to see what you wish they were. ESPN
You know what I can't
is
figure
not
out?
ESPN is not Make-A-Wish Foundation, and neither of them are little kids with terminal illnesses. Everything's not going to go their way.
What I can't figure out for the life of me, seriously, is okay, with like Kaepernick, he wasn't doing what Mike and Jamel were doing. He was protesting for something outside of sports. Mike and Jamel are talking about, the racism and everything in sports, in the world of sports. For the life of me, I can't figure it out. 4 major sports here in America: hockey, baseball, football, basketball. The majority of the athletes in these sports are African American or black.
Well, basketball and football, yeah. Baseball's been not, and I'm just pointing out just so we got a semi-factual record of it. Baseball has a lot of Latino players in it. I think they're more dominated by Latino players than black. And yeah, for the most part, hockey's still dominated by white people from North America.
But my point is, if you take all 4 leagues, okay, all the people on every roster, put them all together, it's going to be black dominated. The majority of the players on that list is going to be black. Yes, you have whites and Latinos and everything else, but the majority of athletes in this country are black in pro sports.
But see, what you're doing is you're looking at it from a poor white person's point of view. And I don't mean that to be, I don't mean that to, let me explain myself, but I just want to clarify. I'm guilty of the same thing. All right. We both know what you got to do to the peanut butter when you open the can on it. By the way, I use that line at work, and I got to see dumbfounded faces from the millennials I work with going, peanut butter. So we're trying to pick up a train of thought that we were talking about something 5 minutes ago. So
I'll make it sound smooth. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, anyways, what I meant by saying you're looking at it from a poor white person point of view is you're looking at it from point of view of a kid who grew up poor, would be more than happy to make the money that the players are making now and then set yourself up for the rest of your life. They're looking at it from the point of view of, well, what does it matter? Where's all the black owners? Where's the black executives? Where's this? Most black athletes are broke 5 years after they get out of the sport. See, it's from what point of view they're looking at these situations here, and that is something that you can't force someone to see your point of view. You can explain it and hope they understand where you're coming from. The problem is that they don't want any discussion about their point of view. The point of view is, if the league is this black, then there's to be this many black head coaches, this many black executives, and this many black owners.
Yep.
The problem with playing the numbers game is numbers breed numbers. And if you want to get right down to it, black people are 12% of the U.S. population. Okay, so if the number of owners and executives need to be proportionate to the number of black people in this country, then we have 12% of ownership and 12% of executive jobs set aside for you. Let the best amongst you win.
So 3.84 black guys get to own an NFL team.
And when you point out things that, like, look, there are players who go broke 6 months after they get their last fucking professional sports their check for playing professionally. There's also players who set themselves and their family and their children and their children's children up for life when they get their last check. Now, what is the difference there? They're going to tell you it's because the environment they grew up in and the people surrounding them, they weren't getting good advice. What's the difference between someone, just to throw it out there, what's the difference between someone like, let's say, Sean Puffy Combs and MC Hammer? Because it's a real simple answer.
Better decisions.
A better business advisor. And being able to say no.
Exploiting the death of your dead friend.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we can make jokes about it, but the fact, the hard and fast fact remains: Puffy's a better businessman. That's how come he's talking about, I would like to buy an NFL franchise. See, that's the thing. You can't come at him with, well, most of the players are black, so how can there be all this racism? Because they're going to say, what about the front offices and the owners? Because
they look at it and it's never enough. That's just it. It's never enough.
And see, it's because they want a complete shift of culture. And whether I agree or disagree with that, from the 6 o'clock Sports Center desk is not the place to try to fucking launch that.
No.
And then to get angry when reality proves that to you, and to act as if you've been, somehow betrayed, that's petty and that's childish, and you need to grow the fuck up. Right? I go to work, and what happens behind the wall where there's no customers, and how I talk and act is not the way I act on the other side of that wall with a customer. Because if I did, I wouldn't work there anymore. And if I did and insisted on acting that way, and then walked around when I got fired pointing the finger at everybody else, I'm surrounded by people who would say, you need to take that judgmental finger and point it back at yourself, because you're the one who fucked that up.
And by the way, get the fuck out of my store.
Exactly.
I've been saying it since we started podcasting together 4 years ago, man. Yeah, I've been saying it so much that I forgot it. No, accountability is a dirty word nowadays. It ain't your fault now. It's everybody. It's something else's fault. It's everybody else's fault. Something else externally caused me not to succeed.
And don't get me wrong.
Couldn't possibly be me.
Don't get me wrong. I do believe in certain parts of sports, there are certain groups of owners, executives who go, I don't want Puffy owning a fucking franchise. I don't want to deal with Master P as a fucking general manager of a football team.
Tough shit, bitch. We're here. We got money.
Okay. But once again, guys like Al Davis have proven that if you truly do not give a fuck and you truly want something and you viciously and ruthlessly go after it, you can bend people's will and get what you want. The way to do that is not to paint the people you're trying to get to support you as the bad guys. It's not to piss off half of the people watching your fucking show and then get mad when ESPN reacts accordingly. But once again, like Chris said, this makes me an asshole for saying this. And this was something that growing up, it was a given that we all knew this. I couldn't stick my hand in the cookie jar and take cookies, and then when I got caught, go, oh, well, it's institutional racism and the patriarchy and white privilege that made me steal those cookies. If you'd have just given me those cookies, I wouldn't have had to steal them behind your back, now would I? That's the type of mentality a person who constantly cheats on their spouse has. That's the person who gets caught cheating and then blames you for catching them. See, why didn't you trust me? Why were you snooping around? See how they deflected that? It's no longer about them cheating. It's about you. How dare you catch them doing what they want to do and making a fool of you? What's wrong with you? And that is a narcissistic sociopath. And are you really shocked that an industry that pays people way more than they're fucking worth to sit and read a teleprompter breeds that type of mentality?
Negative. I'm not.
It's not shy. It pisses me off. I really don't like people like that. I just don't. I'm not racist. I'm the furthest thing actually from racism.
I'm a dirty, filthy racist. There, I said it. Now what? Now tell these people something they don't know. I learned my lesson. I watched 8 Mile.
Which is society's fault because...
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. It was a joke and maybe a poorly timed one, but
no. I just.
Which is society's fault?
What the fuck is happening? I didn't make that. I didn't hit nothing.
Homer decided he needed to have his say again.
I know, right?
I hate when people do that. They say, you have all this white privilege, that black people are oppressed, and, well, why are black people oppressed if the majority of black athletes are black? Or American athletes are black? Why? How are they oppressed? Well, because we don't own the team, so that makes you oppressed how?
So why don't
you know what my problem is?
Why don't a lot of wealthy black people get together, pool their money, and start buying teams?
Here's my problem. I have a bachelor's degree in history. That is my problem. I have read stories that would make people go, oh, God, and like throw up in a trash can about how black people were oppressed in this country. There is not a soul on this fucking planet in this fucking country that has ever been oppressed the way they were back then.
Yeah, but dude,
and didn't have a legal matter afterwards.
Once again, it's the flip side of the same coin when I go, show me right now what rights person A has that you as person B don't. And the first words out of their mouth is, well, historically. I'm not talking about history. I'm talking about now.
Right now, this moment.
And that's the problem with what you're saying. Not that it's wrong, but you can't try to point to... It's like trying to explain to people who didn't live through 9/11 just how much that impacted the entire fucking country all at once.
It didn't matter who you were, what color you were. Everybody was red, white, and blue that day.
Well, we were all watching the same shit, man. Everyone was watching the same show.
Yeah. Everybody stopped and went, holy shit, all at the same time. No Super Bowl, no moon landing, no Kennedy being assassinated has had that many people in the U.S. watching the exact same incident at the exact same time, having the exact same thoughts.
For one point in our history, we were all just fucking American.
Shit. One of the best jokes I've ever heard about it was Eddie Griffin. He said, for 2 weeks, I wasn't black. I was American. I got my credit rating up. I went and bought a car. I got my house. I lowered my child support.
Serious. Real talk, though.
He's like, and then about 3 weeks after 9/11, I'm a Negro again. So I was like, I got my shit.
Real talk, though. But I guess that's my problem, and it'll remain my problem. And I walk out on conversations like that because it's a moot point. You can't tell me you're oppressed and racism. And yes, people are racist. They're going to be racist till the end of fucking time. There's just people that's going to happen to be that. It's just what they are. But to say you're oppressed and mistreated and held down, and
if anyone tells you or ever says these words to you that they want to eradicate racism, you know right there you're dealing with someone who doesn't deal in reality. Because
my initial response would be, good luck with that.
Racism can be internalized and never verbalized. And you could think that person loves you and that person could hate your guts because of this color of your skin. There's an old Chris Rock joke. White people, when you go to work, we all know old Willie, the old black man who's always nice to you and got a joke for you. Here's the truth. Willie hates your guts.
Yeah.
Willie was at those lunch counters. Willie was having fucking German Shepherds sicked on him. Willie was having hoses turned on him. He hates the fucking air you breathe, but you'll never know it. That is racism, and that can never be eradicated. So you're not dealing with someone who's dealing in reality. They're dealing with a world with which they wish it would be. I wish I had a fucking 12-inch dick that's about as big around as a 200-year-old redwood and Jennifer Connelly on speed dial. But I don't. And all the crying and protesting and Twitter outrage ain't going to change any of that.
It's good to have goals.
I wish I could snowboard.
Really? That's where you... I mean, Rich went for the gusto. You wish you could snowboard? Well, all right, never mind. I see what you're doing. A little high. It's called a segue, kids.
Wait to shit on a segue.
Yeah, I know, right?
Listen, dick. Yes, I want to snowboard. I want to win 3 gold medals, just like Shaun White has.
Good for him.
The angry tomato?
Yeah, we're in the Olympic talk now.
Pretty much.
Be Iceman trying to bounce the Olympics off of me and Rich.
You know what, though? To pair it up with the racist talk.
Oh, was it? All that white snow everywhere.
No. The fucking... The half pipe. Seriously. Half pipe snowboard. They added that from the X Games to the fucking Olympics. Nobody else in the world but Americans fucking snowboard in a half pipe.
Oh, so it's just Americans setting themselves up for a gold?
Yeah, just trying to pump ourselves up and win.
Dude, that's not true.
No, it is true.
Dude, you got a lot of skaters who snowboard, and some of the best skaters in the world come from places like Brazil and South America. And that's no bullshit. Those guys are pushing the boundaries because they have to get noticed. The days of Tony Hawk doing a 900 and that being the ooh moment are long gone, dude. That's been 20 plus years ago. All right. I mean, you have a whole generation who came up with this shit all around the world. What I think's ironic is that they added these extreme sports to the Olympics after all fucking this hemming and hawing from the old fucking guard saying, we don't want that X Games shit in our Olympics. And yet, here it is. No one hardly gives a shit about it. Yeah. You understand? You're the first person who's brought up anything about the snowboarding half-pipe competition.
I mean, my phone sends me shit all day. I don't care.
But what I'm saying is, even when I talk to people about the Olympics, people who are right in the supposed age demographic to be into that particular competition, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing on that, man. I can't.
Why are the Olympics still around?
I think that's the bigger conversation that needs to happen.
There's a lot of conversation about that.
I mean, what is the point? First of all, the International Olympic Committee preys upon the hopes of host cities. They have to build everything new. And then once they're used for the Olympics, they turn into fucking ghost towns after billions of dollars have been poured into them. And they're never to be reused again, even if the Olympics come back to that fucking city. I mean, one of the best ideas I heard is, why not just have a set place for the Summer Olympics and a set place for the Winter Olympics.
Olympic City?
Yes. You have 4 years between summer and then 4 years between winter. And yes, now they rotate them to where, or they have them to where they're instead of every 4 years together, they're every 2 years. You can upgrade in 4 years what you need to upgrade to the Olympics, to the International Olympic City. You can do that, no problem, all right? It would make things a lot easier. It would not promote this predatory fucking, here, give us everything we want to the Olympic Committee to come in, and cities destroy their infrastructure for how many ever years just to have something for 2 weeks, and then it just sits empty. I mean,
it makes for good room porn articles on Facebook every couple of years.
Well, yeah, and it's a lot more profitable to do it this way.
Well, yeah, because you get bribes left and right from cities trying to land you. That's half the income.
And one of the best ironic parts in all of this is that how corrupt exactly with the bribes to get a bid to host the Olympics, and how corrupt the people at the top who make the lion's share of money are at the Olympics, versus how much of a pauper and poor they demand their athletes live. Like, I didn't know this. If you can't use certain words in an endorsement, even if it's an Olympic-approved endorsement. Whereas even when we were kids, you could. Like, okay, just, back in the day. By the way, kids, back in the day, he was Bruce Jenner, not Caitlyn. Bruce Jenner could be on a Wheaties box holding all his gold medals, and he could say, 1976 Olympic gold medalist or whatever the fuck. You can't do that these days because the Olympics will sue the athlete. Athletes basically have to live hand to mouth and hope to cash in every 4 years. That's one of the things going on behind the scenes with who's the guy who wanted to carry the flag and they wouldn't let him?
Some dude.
Well, pretty much, yeah, exactly.
Hold on, I'll look him up. He was a speed skater. I know that much.
Yeah.
Apollo?
No. He's black, so of course it turned into, it's because he wanted to carry it because it's black. He's black, and it's Black History Month, and then people were like, well, that's not a good enough reason just to fucking have him carry it because it's Black History Month. Olympics always happen during Black History Month. Black History Month ain't a fucking international holiday.
Shani Davis, S-H-A-N-I. So are we now racist because we didn't know his name?
But, I mean, the whole reason to carry the flag to be during the opening ceremonies is for exposure. Don't sit here and tell me that most of the people who are going to fight and argue behind the scenes to carry that flag are doing so because their hearts bursting with love for mom, bald eagles, and baseball and apple pie. It's because it gets them in front of the fucking cameras. It gets name recognition so they can cash in on sponsorships. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Olympics makes the NCAA look like they're the most above-board organization I've ever seen. And to be honest with you, as salty as I was when I found out the NHL wasn't going to let its players compete in the Olympics this time around, the more I started digging into the actual politics and goings-on behind the scenes, the more I was like, I don't really give a fuck to watch the Olympics. Why should I support this shit?
Is that still a thing? Are they not competing still?
If you are in an active NHL roster, you're not in the Olympics.
Yeah, you notice there ain't no Olympic break this time around?
Yeah.
Like there was 4 years ago and 8 years ago?
I mean, so it's yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It's an idea that I think its time has passed. All right. Really, is anybody really excited to see snowy South Korea? If I want to see snowy South Korea, I can go online and find a live stream of some security camera on top of some building in South Korea while it snows. I can watch people walking back and forth on the street in New York and LA on some live stream. I can watch it happen in almost any country. I mean, the world got smaller with the internet. What the fuck do we need the Olympics for? And on top of that, you have athletes born in this country, trained in this country, who go represent the country where their parents are from. Huh? Really?
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna get to go to Belfast and claim dual citizenship because my great grandparents were from Ireland? I don't think it works that way.
It does now.
Just so I can make the team. What are you, fucking LeVar Ball?
Let me show up talking about go IRA and see how quick I get my ass fucking beat and thrown in prison, okay? Come on now. So I guess it served a purpose at one point. I understand there's a lot of tradition and history there. And no, I'm not one of these people that say all tradition and all history should be gotten rid of. But you have to roll with the fucking times. And times, as the world gets smaller, and you're going to find that developing countries are getting more and more wealthy, all the Olympics sees when they see that is more people to take advantage of. And as developing countries rise, and countries like us are going through a shift from a manufacturing to a service industry country, so we're on a down fucking trend. what's going to happen? You're going to get what you got. People with less and less interest in it. I laughed my balls off when they were talking about bringing the Summer Olympics to Chicago. Have you been to Chicago? Where the fuck are they going to
Exactly.
How are they going to tear up Chicago to build all the shit for the Summer Olympics? What, are they going to tear down Wrigley?
Over a lot of people's dead bodies.
Sears Tower got to go? I mean, come on now.
Lakeshore Drive, we don't need that.
The Miracle Mile? See ya. We need an Olympic Village.
No, I'm with an Olympic City, Rich. That would be great. Never going to happen again because it's not profitable. But I would love to see that. And I would love to see the rule that says if you weren't born in the country, you can't compete for the country. But I actually like the Olympics, the winter and the summer. I like seeing my country go and compete, whether we win or lose. We're not really stellar in the Winter Olympics. We're really good in the Summer Olympics, but for whatever reasons, Americans don't like cold.
This be a pro-Pisha moment right here.
Who gives a fuck?
I do not care. Like, no, the last time I cared about the Olympics, before my voice changed. That's the last time I got excited about the Olympics.
I got to admit, when the NHL players were playing, it had my interest. I don't mind some of the speed skating stuff. I mean, that shit's insane. The what is it? The bobsled and the what is it when they go down head first? The skeleton or whatever the fuck. Luge. Like, that shit's insane, man. Like, that's one mistake of a millimeter, and you are launching yourself halfway to where the Tesla car is now.
Yeah.
Fucking Tesla.
I mean, you're like in the passenger seat on YouTube. You know, I mean, so shit like that. It's like, God damn, I respect the fuck out of the guts, the nuts, the brass ovaries, whatever you want to call it, takes to compete in that shit. But ultimately, is it enough to plan my whole day around? No. And I mean, that's the other problem.
It ain't
the world's
enough
with the internet.
My DVR around.
With the internet, we know what happens instantaneously. You have to basically insulate yourself from sports news completely, and then go back and watch it, either when they broadcast it or a tape delay of it. If you want to be surprised, the Miracle on Ice was tape delayed. That could never happen these days. Americans could never be shocked like they were in 1980 because it would have been all over the internet, Twitter. Everybody would have been fucking tweeting. There'd have been video of it, them celebrating. There'd have been fucking Instagram posts, and Grindr and Tinder numbers would have went up. And I mean, just every fucking thing.
Chris would have had to drop, "Do you believe in miracles?" Yes.
Yeah, before it ever aired here. Seriously. So the mystique is gone. That's, I don't know. To me, that was the attraction of the Olympics. I remember the 84 Olympics very clearly. Remember the 88 Olympics even better. 92, I pretty much checked out. 96, I mean...
92, I absolutely loved the Summer Olympics. The original Dream Team. I said, wait a minute. They're putting all these guys on one team and saying, go compete for gold. Everybody knew that thing was done, son.
But see, once again, it served its purpose, the Dream Team in 92. What did it do? It brought awareness of the sport of basketball to people who would have never had the chance to get into it. And then fast forward 26 years later, how many European-born players are in the NBA?
Right.
How many? I'm sorry, we just talked about the Ball family. They're basically gangster running the team over there in Europe.
Yeah, Lithuania.
They just walked in and said, this is our shit. No, it ain't. Yeah, it is.
It is now.
I guess it is then. All right.
Here, wear these shoes. You're bald.
Whole family is 6'8" black folks. We're not used to seeing that over here in Lithuania. Your team. But we don't need that now, because if you want to know about any sport, you hop online and you can watch it. I can go online right now and watch the KHL.
Hey, case in point, breaking news. Flynn, the Bichon Frise, has won the Westminster Dog Show. Couldn't keep that under wraps. You couldn't go in the dog show bubble. That just came over while we were talking.
And you know who?
We need to talk about your breaking news thing. Suspended.
Can't suspend me.
And the other thing I think with the Olympics is, and this is me personally, is something that I'm like, I've grown weary of the older I get, is the forcing of the feel-good human interest story that they try to do every time the Olympics happen. It's always about, oh God, this poor athlete came from, a family that was murdered by rabid, raccoons, and they lived in the wild and had to eat their own feces, and
you've been getting up at 4 a.m. since you were 3 years old.
Yep, and their first snowboard was fashioned out of a 2x4, and they didn't have any way to fasten it to their feet except for to Jesus nail it, and their half pipe was literally a pipe cut in half that they poured water on and then froze. And it's like, okay, I get it, man. I understand, all right? But stop trying to make me fucking care about these people as more than just athletes on my television screen. That's what E60's for. All right?
I get that too, Rich, because I'm the same way. I'm like, okay, get to the run. Did he make it down or not? God damn it.
On top of that, I got to go with Eddie Griffin on Winter Olympics. He's like, Winter Olympics, white folks, I don't even know how you spectate that shit. You walk all the way up a mountain, and they ski by you doing them 100 miles per hour, and you're like, yay! I think Buffy looks strong. Want to go walk down and see how she finished? Okay, let's go. I mean, how do you even spectate that shit?
Fuck that. Dude, I've never been skiing. I stay in the lodge, get drunk. Fuck that.
You want to find Chris at the ski resort? He's in the lodge, setting the mood.
Yeah. Where are you skis? Don't know.
Don't care.
Yeah. I actually like the Olympic moments, though, that these kids have. Because they do practice, their whole lives for this moment. Like Michael Phelps winning 8 gold medals in 1 Olympics. Like, every time that man got in the pool, gold, 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 gold. At some point, as the other swimmers, I'm just like, dude, just sit out. We got it. You're going to win. We're competing for silver and bronze. Let people watch us for a change.
No, I get it. I mean, yeah, and that drew my interest to that Olympics. And then what I loved even more was after it, when people were saying, he's on performance-enhancing drugs. And then like 6 months later, yeah, there's video of him taking a fucking 6-foot bong rip because his lung capacity is like of 5 healthy humans. And it's like, Jesus God, if weed's a performance-enhancing drug, Chris, I don't know why the fuck you ain't like a Hall of Fame baseball, football, hockey, soccer, curling. You should be able to do it all, right?
I should be a first ballot Hall of Famer in everything.
In life.
To quote Robin Williams, weed is not a performance-enhancing drug. It doesn't enhance anything. It guarantees that you're going to finish dead last. The only way that weed is a performance-enhancing drug is if you put a big-ass Hershey bar at the end of the run. I was
going to say, is it competitive eating involved?
And then it's, I'm there!
See Joey Chestnut get embroiled in a hot dog eating controversy.
Cat Williams said it best. Weed is not a drug. It's a plant. I looked into it. Science. And if you happen to set this plant on fire, and you happen to inhale what the fire lets off, there's some side effects. Hungry, happy, sleepy. That's the side effects.
That's true.
Hungry, happy, sleepy don't win you shit in the Olympics, except for, once again, maybe curling.
Oh, you think if you got caught burning one down before the hot dog eating competition at Nathan's on 4th of July, you'd get banned? Like, oh, look at this guy.
Lifetime ban.
That's the performance-enhancing drug. Yes, it is.
He's trying to make himself extra hungry.
No,
qualified.
But they're seriously, with Michael Phelps, there's a lot of stories like that that's happened in the Olympics. The Dream Team, Phelps, Shaun White winning his first medal on the snowboard. It's just, Katie Ledecky in the pool the year after Phelps. There's just so many Olympic moments that I'm just like, kind of proud to be an American today.
Gay! Man, all I know is that I miss the days when little princess ice skaters used to get kneecapped by Whiskey Tango ice skaters.
Why?
Yeah.
And then make a porno tape that nobody wanted to watch.
Oh, God.
Nobody asked for. Why did you make that? There was no demand for this.
That was the most difficult wank I had ever had in my life, watching that thing.
Oh, my God. You actually watched it?
Well, yeah.
I knuckled up, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a participant in life, man.
It's there.
No. No.
Let's put it this way. You may have an athlete's body, and congratulations on it, but not all women who have athletes' bodies exactly look like very desirable out of their clothes.
I think we got to end here. We got to end up beating off to the Tanya Harding sex tape.
No.
I'm just saying, that bitch's thighs, she could crack boulders with, all right? It was like...
I mean, that's the standard. If we titled the episodes, which I might start doing once we bust 100, because there's no more athletes to name. It would be called "Beating Off to the Tanya Harding Sex Tape."
All of a sudden, boom! Our most downloaded episode ever.
Yeah, I know, right?
And it's buried at the back end. We fucked with you. You had to listen to the whole thing to get to it.
But yeah, shit. So still we filled almost 3 hours, but yeah. Next week, listen to us trying to fill more time till spring training starts.
March Madness, playoffs.
Yeah, it's February. All you got is regular season hockey, basketball, and if you're the Iceman, racing.
And Olympics.
Boogity. Let's go racing.
Yeah. What'd you say, Rich?
And Olympics at this point, if you're into them.
Yeah. You pretend to like the Olympics, like the people who pretend to like the World Cup when it comes around. So yeah, thanks. If you've been listening, if you made it this far, thanks for listening. If you like it, tell a friend, pass it around, like joining a party. Bad venereal disease in your 20s. You can hit us up on Twitter at Sporgy Podcast. Email the show, sporgy@ChristopherMedia.net. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week.
All right, later, guys.
Peace out, y'all.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook by searching for Christopher Media. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Look in your home. Look in your office. Look in your home office. Everywhere you turn, there's so much smart. At Capella University, we think education should be smart too. Our game-changing FlexPath format puts you in control of your master's degree, so you can learn how, when, and where you want. Smart, huh? Yeah, we think so too. So if you want to take the next step in your career, make Capella your first step. Visit capella.edu to learn more. Capella University. Don't just learn smarter.
Pro Extra is the Home Depot's free loyalty program built for pros. Members earn perks just for shopping, like new Pro Extra dollars or tool rental perks. Get exclusive benefits every day that save time and money. And here's an extra, $20 off your next in-store purchase of $200 or more, just for signing up. Want to save? Join Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit the Pro Desk in-store at homedepot.com/proextra for details.